What's up, gamers?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Marvel's Avengers War Table for Wakanda. I am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Ms. Marvel herself, Sandra Saad. Hello, Sandra.
Yes, hello, that's me. Hello, Greg. How are you?
How excited are you?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be back here with the fans and be with you, someone who knows so much about video games.
Well, you can say that about video games, sure, but I do know a lot about Marvel's Avengers, ladies and gentlemen.
True.
I, much like all of you, have been playing nonstop for the past year, loving it, wanting more from it, a whole bunch of different things. But we are finally here on the precipice. Tomorrow, War for Wakanda, the free expansion for Marvel's Avengers, drops. We are all very excited about it. And today, for the next 3 hours, Sandra and I will be here interviewing the developers, interviewing the actors, showing new gameplay, and of course, kicking it all off with a war table right now, all about it. Sandra, as we get ready to do this, why are you excited for War for Wakanda?
Because Black Panther rocks.
That is the correct answer. That is the correct answer, everybody.
She's like, because my
Twitch,
character.
on YouTube. We were looking at your chat. I have things from the Reddit. We are all set to go. But before we kick this off and start the War for Wakanda expansion live here on all of your live streaming platforms, let's begin right now with the War for Wakanda War Table. Kevin, roll it.
Oh, man. All right, let's see.
My father came to your beautiful country when I was a child. He had heard about the mythical vibranium. But the Black Panther said they had no vibranium to give. He slit my father's throat. That panther is dead. So you will have to do. You and your people.
You finally
Yikes.
agreed to accept help, and it is from outsiders. That is not like you.
I am not accepting help.
Oh, it's Cap!
Then let me send teams to the corrupted sites. Take the Dora Milaje with you. Do something other than driving yourself headfirst into danger.
I am not just a king on a throne. I am the Black Panther.
Then show us you can be both.
I will.
Oh.
Finish the job, boys.
They are attacking the shield around Peninsula. Can't you join us below this?
Oh, my God.
You should embrace your spiritual side.
Got a couple toys just for you, Panther.
Here they come.
With me.
Shuri, we need to evacuate the borderland.
Your country crumbling at my feet. The whole place is coming down.
Avengers, with me.
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome to the War Table for Wakanda, a walkthrough of the new expansion starring Black Panther, coming to Marvel's Avengers tomorrow at no additional cost.
No additional
War
cost.
for Wakanda is an exciting new release that aims at refreshing the Marvel's Avengers experience and is the largest and most ambitious expansion since launch. We're excited to welcome Black Panther to Marvel's Avengers, and today we're going to share details with you about the story campaign, new gameplay, enemies, and more.
Oh,
And
look
of
at that
course,
suit.
We couldn't bring the king to Avengers without also bringing his kingdom. So we'll be unveiling some new details and footage of Wakanda as well. To
Wow.
ensure our War for Wakanda story does justice to such an important hero, our narrative team enlisted the help of well-known writer and Black Panther expert Evan Narcisse, author of The Rise of the Black Panther
What?
Marvel Comics.
Oh, that's hip.
From the very first meeting the team had with Evan, they felt a special magic and are really proud of the work they've done to craft an original story and bring Black Panther to life. Together, they threw themselves into the challenge of both respecting and celebrating
That's right.
existing Black Panther stories and bringing the culture of Wakanda to life. Here's Evan to tell you more about himself.
Hi everybody, it's Evan Narcisse. I'm here, of course, to talk about the War for Wakanda expansion for Marvel's Avengers. When we were working on the War for Wakanda story, the narrative team and I drew inspiration from so many different story arcs in the comics, dating back to the Black Panther storylines such as Who is the Black Panther by Reginald Hudlin and John Romita Jr., and A Nation Under Our Feet by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Brian Stelfreeze.
I think I've read that
these
one,
stories
man.
were, of course, so important to how we thought about our version of the Black Panther. When we were working on the narrative for War for Wakanda, it was essential for us to tell a Wakandan story, even though it takes place in the Avengers universe. And of course, Wakanda is its own sovereign African nation. It's also the most advanced civilization on Earth. Its technological achievement is fueled by vibranium, a precious material found only in a meteor that crashed on Earth centuries ago. The kingdom is ruled by King T'Challa, the Black Panther. And in War for Wakanda, T'Challa faces a massive invasion unlike anything the country has ever faced before. T'Challa is a man who lives many roles. He's a king, he's a leader of an entire nation, and he's a brother. And this invasion will test him in all of those roles. It's going to be really difficult for him to figure out who he is and what needs to be for Wakanda to be safe. This invasion is led by Ulysses Klaue, a rogue scientist with a dark secret and a darker grudge. Klaue's assembled an army of mercenaries, all of them equipped with deadly sonic technology.
Dude, this
and
is
large
hip.
spider-like mechs that he unleashes into the Wakanda jungle. Klaue's being bankrolled by one of the world's most sinister organizations, and he uses all that money and all those resources to plant sonic fracking towers all over Wakanda so he can extract vibranium from the soil.
Oh no!
This is a devastating process that corrupts the vibranium and creates clusters of deadly poisonous shards that show up all over the world.
Oh yikes!
This, of course, is how the Avengers
Oh,
get
look at the
involved in
ship!
war for Wakanda.
That's a clean-looking
After
ship.
the Mayday disaster, Wakanda closed its borders and cut off all communication with the outside world. After the dangerous corrupted vibranium starts to appear all over the globe, the Avengers travel to Wakanda to offer their help to King T'Challa.
Yeah.
Another important character showing up in the expansion is Okoya. She's the captain of the Dora Milaje, an elite fighting force that answers only to the king. She's also kind of the voice of truth for T'Challa, which means she tells the king stuff that everybody else is afraid to even voice. Along with Okoye, we've got Zavavari. He's a mystic who has this really tense, fraught relationship with the royal family. T'Challa's not the only member of the royal family showing up in this expansion. We also have his younger sister, Princess Shuri. She's the head of technological development in Wakanda. She doesn't agree with T'Challa's approach to dealing with Klaue, and the War for Wakanda expansion exposes the fragility of T'Challa and Shuri's relationship.
Interesting.
It sets up a series of confrontations that will test their bond, as well as their partnership with the Avengers. Even if they all find a way to come together, it may not be enough to stop the growing threat to Wakanda and its people. The narrative team and I, we created this new original Black Panther adventure, drawing on inspiration from so many amazing existing storylines from the comics and other iterations of the character. We all know and love this character so much and want to share that love with all of you guys. And we're so excited about bringing this new adventure to Marvel's Avengers for all of you to enjoy.
That's so killer. They're very respectful to the comics.
Black Panther is known for his cat-like agility and lethal claws. He is an untouchable force that can pounce at any moment. The team has crafted a full arsenal of custom moves to capture his fighting style and bring him to life. Out of my sight is Black Panther's signature attack, which can be charged with intrinsic energy to perform the kinetic slash, a spiraling uppercut. From this move, Black Panther can branch in and out of the spinning strike-like combo.
My God.
Pounce from the ground or the air to grab enemies and unleash a flurry of claw strikes.
Okay.
The intrinsic meter is super important for Black Panther.
Yep.
You're going to want to prioritize blocking and parrying to store kinetic energy, which can then be released in a percussive blast. Black Panther's percussive blast unleashes all your stored energy in a large kinetic burst that knocks away nearby enemies and boosts Black Panther's melee damage for a short time. Perform a parry just before an enemy attack connects to turn their attack into a blast of kinetic energy that knocks them back and staggers nearby foes.
You can open up
Enemies
a combo,
who've recently been parried are easier to interrupt with attacks. Black Panther can construct daggers made of energy and vibranium, which can be thrown at enemies.
Okay.
near or far.
There's his
basic
ranged
daggers
attack.
will embed into targets, making them more vulnerable to melee damage. They're
Okay.
a great way to weaken an enemy before unleashing a barrage of melee attacks.
Helmet's off, by the way,
The
right
Komodo
there.
beads can target enemies or allies and provide either detrimental or restorative abilities to their target.
What?
The beads can be upgraded and provide additional support or offensive capabilities
Komodo
such as
beads.
armor against
That's
attacks,
sick.
destroying incoming projectiles, shooting enemy
I didn't even
targets,
think
or
they were gonna
dealing
use
damage over
those.
time. Additional skills can be unlocked to supercharge your sprint, evade, signature, and combo finisher attacks using your intrinsic energy. There are so many ways to play Black Panther, but here are some powerful highlights. The Assault Heroic King's Mercy is a vibranium spear that can pin multiple targets and deal out large amounts of damage. The spear can be customized to explode on contact or create multiple smaller spears for rapid fire. Call upon the power of the Panther goddess Bast to summon a spectral panther to charge through your foes and empower
Black
Panther
Panther's
with energy
Panther.
from the ancestral plane, boosting defensive capabilities. Unleash supercharged attacks without expending any intrinsic energy. The ultimate can be customized to revive down heroes, weaken at nearby enemies, and even summon spectral warriors to fight alongside.
That's
Black
killer.
Panther himself is a fully unique hero with the same amount of skills and gear as the rest of the Avengers. He'll have around 40 outfits and a full suite of emotes, takedowns, and nameplates for the marketplace.
Wow.
Releasing alongside the War for Wakanda expansion is an extensive refresh to the menu pages for Marvel's Avengers. Some of the biggest updates are related to the new unified character page. It contains everything associated with a hero in one easy-to-navigate space. Here you can manage your gear, cosmetics, emotes, and takedowns, as well as view hero and challenge card progress, so you can get back to the action more quickly. This update includes commonly requested improvements for managing a hero's loadout, including more easily comparing items, locking your favorite gear for safety, and dismantling multiple items at once. Direct access to your locker from anywhere adds an extra layer of convenience. This only scratches the surface of UI improvements our team has crafted for you in this update.
Andrew Alliance, what's up, dude? Yeah, this is the Taken King of
As Evan
expansions.
mentioned earlier, we have drawn a lot of inspiration from the Black Panther comics, while striving to make
Big
a unique
change
and
to the
respectful
UI.
rendition of
Sound
Wakanda
familiar?
and its cast of characters.
Something that
War
might have
for
happened to
Wakanda features
Destiny.
A full new biome, the jungles of Wakanda, showing off both the rich and amazing history of this ancient, unconquered African country,
Oh,
but
boy.
also the futuristic, symbiotic technology of contemporary Wakanda. At the center is the Wakandan capital, Bernanzana, where our new outpost is located. It features King T'Challa's throne room from where he rules, and the command center where all important decisions regarding the country's security takes place.
Okay.
Shuri's lab houses the nerve center for Wakanda's Kimoyo network. The spiritual annex is located on the lower floor, where Zavavari aids the royal family in the ways of mystical powers.
Mystical
The
stuff.
Wakanda mission design is built on the same foundation as Marvel's Avengers, but with new objectives and an extra focus on dangerous traversal, exploration, and puzzles. Almost all War for Wakanda content is multiplayer enabled, apart from the introduction mission, which is single player only. This is where Black Panther is introduced and celebrated as a new, unique hero.
Right. All right, that's hip. So yeah, the storyline will be co-op. That's nice. Just gotta do that introduction.
War for Wakanda features a full A-list cast of actors, helmed by Christopher Judge as Black Panther. Christopher is best known for playing Kratos in the latest God of War game and from the TV show Stargate. Shuri is played by Erica Luttrell, known from Dishonored, Westworld, and Apex Legends. Okoye is played by Deborah Wilson from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Zavavari is played by Dave Fennoy, best known from the Walking Dead games. Steve Bloom is going all in as the villain Ulysses Claw. To get the Wakandan accent just right, we worked closely with Beth McGuire, the dialect coach from the Black Panther movie. Beth has had multiple coaching sessions with each of the key actors to ensure that the accents are
Dude, look at that
properly
jet.
delivered and has
Look at
been
how
an integral
sweet
part
that
of the
is.
voice sessions.
Wakanda.
As you may have already noticed, Wakanda will release with several new enemies. The main villain is Black Panther's nemesis from the comics, Ulysses Claw, also known simply as Claw. and we're bringing a new sonic rendition of him to life based on his iconic Marvel look. Claw's story is linked to Wakanda, and we're excited to reveal our all-new version of his origins in this expansion. Claw has brought with him a team of mercenaries. They have a variety of vibranium and sonic-powered weapons and should pose a real challenge for Black Panther and the Avengers.
It did. Dude, this is... Look at how Panther moves around. Look at that. He calls in a Panther to beat up the bad guy.
Hunter crawlers. We're
Hunter
excited
crawlers?
to announce the legendary comic villain Crossbones as Claw's head lieutenant, and to debut Wakanda with two new villains in one expansion. Crossbones, or Brock Rumlow, is a sociopathic super mercenary who works for the highest bidder, and he's ready to lead the invasion of Wakanda.
Oh my
Crossbones
god.
is a formidable foe and has an impressive arsenal at his disposal.
And he throws the
including an
daggers.
impenetrable shield that makes him immune to many of Black Panther's attacks.
Okay.
Discover Crossbones' origins and find out how the Avengers created their own enemy. Thank you for joining us for our War for Wakanda War Table. Log in tomorrow to play Black Panther and defend Wakanda alongside the Avengers.
So he gets
Here's
a
one last
spear,
look at how
he gets
massive Marvel's Avengers
daggers,
has become and why now is the right time to assemble.
he gets the healing beads, you got the kinetic energy that you store from parries and blocking. So yeah, you got the Kate Bishop DLC. A Hawkeye Future Imperfect time traveling. Oh yeah, that was fun. And now the biggest expansion yet. Look at that. There's a White Panther outfit. 25 hours of single player content. Oh, I think I put more than that. Let me see how that works. There it is. Here's my guy. Definitely check out Andrew Alliance while we're here. All the DLC's free. Just gotta buy the game.
I'm standing in Wakanda. I still can't believe it.
That's it. I'm excited. I'm gonna need to watch that footage again. Just how they were talking about his combat style.
Are you not entertained? What's up, everybody? Welcome to what is officially now the War for Wakanda launch
Greg is a
party.
super
I'm
nerd.
Greg. That's Sandra.
He's crazy.
Sandra, I mean, the
Crazy
War Table,
for this game.
hype as hell. There's so much to talk about for Black Panther and War for Wakanda, but that was you at the end. That was your voice.
I couldn't believe it either, girl. I couldn't believe it either.
How does that feel? How does that feel to be like, there's this game that's been living and breathing for a year. You have this dedicated fan base. I think last I checked was over over 15,000 across all platforms watching us right now. People obviously love Avengers, but they love you as Ms. Marvel. What's that like to finally be back there, be in Wakanda, be able to say that, be you?
Honestly, Greg, sometimes I forget. I was watching this cool thing, and then at the very end, there was my voice. I was like, oh yeah, that's me.
Right, I'm a part of this. Right.
Well, beautiful, very proud, very proud.
Good. You have a lot to be proud of. You're going to be hanging out with me today now for what? Still a little less than now 3 hours, but 3 hours of War for Wakanda content. If you're just joining us after that War Table, let me remind you that this is crazy. Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda launch party. What does that mean? It means that for the rest of the day, myself, Greg Miller, and Sandra Saad are going to hang out with you. We're going to talk to the developers. We're going to talk to the cast. We're going to show you more gameplay. We, of course, just did the War Table. We're going to talk about where Avengers has been, where it's going, and everything like that. And this is the party atmosphere. And what I mean by that is if you don't watch me on Kinda Funny, that means that we are bringing the garbage truck on fire here. This is a party. People are going to walk in, they're going to walk out, Discord windows are going to pop up, and we're going to have to reframe and do all that stuff because we're all here to hang out and celebrate the War for Wakanda launching tomorrow. Now, what I want to set right at the beginning, Sandra, is you said a lot of nice things about me, correct?
Yes, of course.
But what's top of the list? When you think of, no, shush. When you think of Greg Miller, what's top of the list?
Warm.
No, man of the people, ladies and gentlemen. I am watching the Twitch chat right now. I have questions from the subreddit, but I want to kick it to the Twitch chat right now, where Flitz said, "What time does it go live?" This is the question I've seen on the subreddit. I've seen on Twitter, I've seen on YouTube, I've seen on Twitch. When can you play the War for Wakanda expansion for free? Answer, ladies and gentlemen. drum roll please, is tomorrow, of course, as you already know, the 17th, but 8 a.m. Pacific, give or take. You know how platforms are, some update here, some update there. You're doing things. 8 a.m. Pacific, give or take, but you don't have to
10
wait.
a.m.
Right now,
Central,
ladies and gentlemen,
11
it's time to
a.m.
start. We're
Eastern.
jumping right into Wakanda. Are you excited?
Go. I'm ready to jump. Yes.
All right, cool. So a big deal for me, obviously, somebody who plays Avengers all the time, being able to spin the map and then go right to Africa. There it is, Wakanda. A brand new region, a brand new place to explore, and a brand new story. We will be playing this. We will be having fun. We're gonna listen to the story though, right? I gotta hear what's going on. I gotta know what's happening. We're kicking it off. Oh, and also they told me ahead of time to warn you, of course. Obviously, we're playing pre-release builds from like a week ago on debug units. Anything can happen, so it'll look better and run better probably tomorrow, but you know how it is. That's the Marvel logo, Sandra. Have you ever seen that before?
Marvel logo? Oh, this might just be my first time.
I thought it might be.
Humor an old sorcerer for a moment, my king. Your father gave me that much respect, as did your father's father.
Oh?
Long ago, a meteor plunged into the land of Wakanda. Wakanda was not an advanced nation then. It was a group of warring tribes. The meteor brought them together because it contained the metal we now call vibranium. Vibranium made Wakanda. With it, we advanced. We repelled outside forces. We connected with our past and our Panther God. You challenged your uncle to become the Black Panther, but you were born to be king.
Saying, oh, this is gonna be
Not
spoilery.
all can
Yeah,
do
we're playing the
both.
first 2 missions of the game. It's
Not
gonna be
all
very
see
spoilery.
past bleeding when they
If
do.
you don't want to know anything, you can wait till tomorrow, 8 a.m.
Made a difficult choice, closing Wakanda's borders when you thought your friend had died.
Oh, there's Jeff.
I do not begrudge you it.
Oh,
This
Cap
new
is
threat
a
is
friend.
different. You have no idea how far these people will go to take what they desire.
Greg, I'm scared.
A corruption
Don't worry, we got this.
has followed in the wake of
We got the
Ulysses'
power of the
claw,
Black Panther. We're gonna be fine.
made of the vibranium that keeps the heart of Wakanda beating. And that corruption is spreading. Only one man now stands in its way. You.
Boom. Title screen. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, that was
Wow,
smooth.
I can breathe. That was beautiful. Did you hear
Right.
that voice? Excuse
Oh, yeah.
me.
Dave Fenoy from davefenoy.com. Never
Stop
forget.
it. Stop it.
The LAN cable's connected over there, don't worry.
We clear? Clear. Let me seek the next charge.
You guys are blowing up the Panther cave? That's not cool, dude. Uh-oh. Oh, it's a real panther.
It's a good intro. It's a good introduction to a character.
Ooh, look at those claws.
No, 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 no!
I had enough of these invaders in my land.
Oh, look at those textures too. Such a variety. Textures on the soup.
Beloved, you let him go?
Yes, Okoye.
You just watch
For
him
now.
stand.
I know. Well, and that's my thing about it, right?
Still
And again, we're
be
gonna
at
talk
a
over sections, so you can
disadvantage.
play it tomorrow for free and listen
He
to it
will
all you
lead
want.
me to
But
his
like for me,
friends,
right, as somebody who's
and to
played
their
so much
leader,
Cap, I'm a Cap main,
Claw.
then Widow, then Iron Man in terms of my roster.
Okay, where am I there?
Okay,
You didn't even play as Miss
in a group
Marvel?
of dedicated Avengers. One of them is Andrew Goldfarb. He is always Kamala Khan. All right, so
Okay,
don't
great.
worry. He's always wearing the frog hat, the Thor frog. You know what I
So
mean? 'Cause
Andrew's the best in the group is what I'm getting. Got it.
I assure you he will clip that out and that will now be his ringtone. But yeah, for me, one of the things I love, because I got to play this ahead of time for the press previews, right, is just the look of T'Challa, right? Just the fact of he's built. Look at that back. That, you know what I mean?
That's a lot of back
He
muscles
doesn't
there.
Look like every other Avenger. I appreciate them.
He really does the delt exercises, yeah? Working on those delts.
You can see some more of his movement. And also, obviously, I think it was Simon Carty, his preview, maybe it was Paul Tassi from Forbes, Simon from IGN, talking about how great the jungles looked. And obviously, with Crystal Dynamics' pedigree of the one, the only Tomb Raider, it makes sense that they would nail that, but they for sure do.
I was just gonna say, wow, I want to go camping now.
In another fun
I
one,
think
I
the
don't know how
melee
much
combat's
you
going to
might
be
be
really
caught up
fun.
with this answer, but
And
people
that's
watching,
probably the build I'm
the
going to
idea
go
that
for.
They didn't reuse assets for this. Like, there's new chests, there's new things to break open for resources. I appreciate that they went out of their way to make Wakanda feel different, because obviously, you know, its own country, it's walled off.
He's coming!
He punched his own guy.
With me!
You know, immediately they show you new enemy types. Everybody calm down. All right, it's not a robot.
And these weapons.
Yeah,
It's a real person.
Here you go. Overcharged
Hello.
enemies. Certain enemies can become overcharged. When this happens, they are more resistant to damage and are able to perform special attacks that are only available while in overcharged state. Combat overcharged enemies with sonic gear and sonic infused attacks.
Sonic?
How many times must I teach them this lesson? It's the Black Panther! I do believe
Oh, those aerial attacks, too. And notice all the dodges.
Get my Black Panther out there. Get
Look at
that
these.
stuff.
Okay,
color
that's the
palettes,
ult.
Greg.
I know,
Look at
right?
all these
Where he calls Bass
special you guys are.
into attack with him.
Some spear that works
That's
so
the
much like
assault heroic,
that.
where he
You'll
throws
see me
the
obviously
spear.
use it throughout the day. When I do, you'll see that you can pin enemies to the wall. You can pin multiple enemies to the wall, to the ground. Pin them like you do with me for all my Thor mains out there.
All right.
Okay, these are the beads, which can be used to heal characters, but
What did you
also
get?
damage enemies.
Nothing.
So it looks like they're automatically seeking out and attacking this
Your
enemy
chance.
here.
Uh-huh.
Alright, nice
I thought about
takedown.
him for a second.
See, with all those dodges, it's going to be really easy to avoid damage and build up the meter,
What's that like
build
for
up
you?
the intrinsic.
The fact that, like, you know, when, you know, obviously MCU is so influential for pop culture now, for movies and everything else. But, like,
I have cleared
that's
the camp.
brought Marvel up to such a
Searching
level.
it for
And
intel.
obviously, for you to be
Should
part
I take
of
Princess
that
Shuri?
universe, to be
She
Ms.
will
Marvel,
receive
right?
it after
Granted, from the
executing
video game
point.
thing, but in the multiverse, it doesn't matter. And to be so many people's first introduction to Ms. Marvel, what was that like after, you know, launching the game?
So cool. I get hit up about it a lot, and it's really touching to see people be like, oh my god, now I'm buying all the Miss Marvel comics. Yeah, it's very cool. And of course, to know that like I'm somewhat related in some way to, you know, Chris Hemsworth and also, you know, Travis Willingham. I love Thor all around. So.
Listen, it's all right to like Chris Hemsworth. It's all right to like Thor. Travis Willingham is a bridge.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about
All right,
that.
we don't have to like Travis. Travis isn't here. We, you know, it's nice that Laura continues to pity him and hang out with him.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, well, for anybody that I'm that close with, it's not gonna go well for them on stream.
You should have brought more.
So now, Chad, I see you popping off and liking it. Obviously, keep me posted on what you want to see. Again, like. I'm
See,
here.
the melee
Glad-
combat,
we
I think, is
jump in.
going to
We
be
haven't looked at
really.
the new loadout screens. We haven't looked at.
I'm sure
you know
the
what,
daggers
actually,
are
what was I saying?
powerful and
Let's just
people
jump in.
will
'Cause here's
create
one of the-
melee
One of
builds.
the other
but-
things I saw in the Twitch chat going through was You Hate Mac. And You Hate Mac said, not a single Panther skin has been a miss so far. To which I say, are you kidding me with the Panther skins? You know what I mean? Like
Also
they have,
in the chat, excuse me, Greg. Also in the chat, I see someone said, "I love you, Sandra." I love you too. Continue.
I'm so stoked to
Oh.
have the Panther.
Wakanda
helmet skins.
salute.
So these are obviously, I think, the ones that are all. I shouldn't say obviously. I can look, right? Yeah, these are the ones that are all from the challenge card. So this isn't even talking about what will come to the marketplace eventually. But you get into these skins and see. I mean, like, come on. Like, and that's what I love so much about the challenge cards. Sandra,
that looks clean.
Such a great. If you like the character, and let me tell you, from playing just 2 missions of Black Panther, I'm definitely going to be going for 150 on this one. I'm going to be grinding this card. I'm going to be wanting every one of these for sure.
Wow.
That one.
I know, right? But then, yeah,
with the red eyes
before,
too.
Right, if you hadn't checked out any of the stuff, Crystal's been putting up on PlayAvengers.com. Obviously, we've redone the entire character screen. So right here, you can get into your loadouts faster, right? You can get into your skills and see what's going on there. You got your nameplate. It's
yeah,
weird
loadouts
thing.
are brand new.
Card, of course. Look at him. I thought for sure I was going to be able to show this challenge card, get a bunch of, upvotes on the subreddit. They're locking me out. I swear to God, Crystal, you sons. But anyways, yeah, normal stuff here. We'll get obviously.
Like we don't have any gear.
Because remember, we're playing this first mission. Then we're gonna talk to some of the people who wrote the game. Then we're coming back for second mission. Then we're gonna get into the harm room. We're gonna talk to animation designers, developers. We're gonna talk to the cast.
See, that's gonna be cool. Talking with the animation folks
like
and seeing the breakdown in the harm room.
Yeah, it's so grateful
at you, flipping. Look
he's
at
a dodger, but
and I know that so many people
you need to parry.
That's just never my thing. It's like not great.
No, if you parry with this
way
character,
more about the dodge.
it's going to be a big benefit here if you're able to
the
parry.
Other thing for me that I find so hilarious. First off, of course, playing on stream, you always play way worse. So remember, I'm not garbage. Is the fact that
Sure.
after playing so much of this at 150, you know what I mean, and grinding hives or going through vaults with your friends, it's so weird to come back to a character that's underpowered. And like, oh right, like I forgot what it's like to actually not have every move available for me at launch and ready to go.
The dodges are pretty cool.
Fire suit that's happening right now.
He's just one of the new guys, right? He's just one of Claude's dudes.
I want to see the Pounce Attack at some
go right to the
point.
well for that and then not have it give me
Okay, so you're still able to pin the guys when they're overcharged.
You can see him pinned over here with the
and then you can just, kind of like with Thor's hammer, you can just go to town there. He's a really interesting combination of a lot of unique abilities. So once again, the combat team has absolutely nailed it, as we knew they would.
Like for you to record all that just in the wild VO. Like I think when we talk about VO, you usually think about like all the scenes we see of you and Troy and everybody in ping pong ball suits getting out there doing your thing. What's it like for when they're just like, all right, cool, and now you've been punched. All right, now you've jumped off something. It's a little bit high. It's not that high.
It's so different, right, than being on the mocap stage, because you're just in the booth by yourself with the director on the other side, like behind the glass, and you've just got hundreds of these lines, and you're like, oh, what's the motivation for this?
What exactly is going on? Like, you're a robot
all the
just
recording,
shot.
all the moaning and groaning
Am I
and
in the jungle?
combat sounds. Okay, there comes Fast. Oh.
It's not me. I'm talking too much. I'm not playing right. Sorry, everybody. That's me. Put up the death goal. First of the day. It's on me. Well, it's because you're distracting me. I'm just talking.
Sure it is.
The game standard. All right, you look at the chat. You find out what they're saying.
All right. Beautiful combo. Yes, beautiful. Sandra, stay aligned.
She said it. She said it. You know, they actually added that word to the dictionary in Biggin. That's really funny.
I can't give you guys spoilers or violate my non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, everyone in chat probably asking for spoilers.
Hi, Andy. Hi.
When Spider-Man.
Yes.
How about we just,
Oh,
chill for a moment and enjoy how awesome Black Panther is and the War for Wakanda stuff. Let's live in the moment for a minute here.
Oh, I adore you too.
So it looks like he has a lot of
nice.
knockback attacks too.
Well, I have to imagine, like, especially for you make the joke about
Look at that.
non-disclosure, but for all the projects you're working on, let alone Marvel's Avengers, for whenever you recorded, your Wakanda stuff. I guess you could tell me now. When did you record your Wakanda stuff?
A while ago, I
Accepted vibranium debuff will trigger unblockable explosive reaction, causing additional damage.
Like from home,
like that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can actually see when that hits you, when that type of energy, and that's the new healing canisters.
Yeah.
So yeah, no repurposed assets here. You know, we're seeing a whole new biome full of new characters and new environments.
Pandemic, let alone starting the game not in a pandemic, then transition to being in a pandemic. Then
Yeah, that's true. This whole game was launched and
you are T'Challa, but you're not
updated during a pandemic.
Really feel empowered by this, but I'm sorry it doesn't feel that way. You actually.
Right.
There we go. I love this claw to the face.
Yeah, so that's the Pounce Attack. Oh, and you can just keep hacking. Look at that. There's a countdown timer.
It's very much in the wheelhouse of the Simpsons. Stop. He's already dead.
So I wonder if that's gonna tie in, if you'll be able to do like a certain type of elemental damage while you have someone.
Obviously, as we all know, if you're new to Avengers, you're just jumping in for the first time. It becomes a gear game where you go through, you get the new thing, you equip it. But early on, let's just get our power level up. All right, I'm just gonna use the L2,
So,
hold L2, equip the best, and let's go.
Yeah.
Skills here.
So that's
feel
one of
like
the cool
obviously on
things. You
melee
can
and
hold L2 and it automatically equips the best gear. So if you don't like to fumble with stuff like that, you don't have to.
Really get in there hand to hand. That's where I strive, especially
That
early
would
on,
be
'cause
good.
Again, if you're new, you're gonna get it all.
See, because that breaks the shield as well.
All of this, and you have to worry about it.
Somebody said stop. He's already dead.
See,
That'd
told
be
you.
a good move.
I know how the internet works.
To that shield.
Stop hating me.
So you have to jump, I guess.
Wakanda forever. Yes.
Wakanda forever.
Sandra is a goat. I prefer lambs, but you know,
I
thank
am
you.
sharing it with you now. Somewhat begrudgingly.
Greg, I just got an
You will
animal. I
enjoy
just got a
this,
pet.
Okoya.
What'd you get?
Man, I love his voice too.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Christopher
thanks for
Judge
asking that.
nailing it here.
What,
Yeah,
what,
nobody does.
what led you to the frog?
A friend of mine was like, "Do you want my frog?" I was like, "Sure," and I took him.
Okay, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Yeah.
The vibranium has spread to this part of the jungle too.
How is it moving so
So now this is the corrupted vibranium. There's an event going on, obviously, when this gets launched. Alongside, of course, don't forget, tomorrow when this launches, you're getting that new.
Yeah,
casket.
3 days until the corrupted vibranium event starts. And you'll be able to unlock all sorts of unique vibranium gear to use on all your characters. So this game is gonna stay busy with all the events and stuff, like it has been for the past several months.
2021, baby.
So the game hit a real turning point even before this came out, in just the recent months.
It's a tree frog.
Since they dropped the Red Room, some of the other activities, there's always been something to do.
Okay, I appreciate that. Was that the name
Such
frog
cool
when you bought
effects,
him, or is
too.
that just like you're like, all right, you know, I'm like just having it. I'm trying to save your life here, bro. You're just frog.
Yeah, I didn't want to give him identity crisis. The previous owner did not name him, so.
Well, that seems sweet. You know, how did she fall into this frog life?
Yeah, he just had like a million animals, so.
Okay.
I just wanted to take one off his hands.
See, I want to know more about the storing the kinetic energy, but since Greg is a little more of a dodge type player rather than someone that likes to block and parry,
Yeah. And I don't think he'll get too confused if I rename him. It's just.
it seems like a lot of people tend to play this in that
You know
that
what?
Dark Souls type mentality of just like dodge, dodge,
Yay,
dodge, dodge.
everybody, we did our good deed of Avengers today.
But at some point, especially with a character like this, or even like Cap, it's really good to embrace the parries and the blocks, because I mean Cap has his shield, and with Panther he's going to be storing that kinetic energy that you're blocking and parrying and such, and you're going to use that for more powerful attacks. So
This is a great bit.
That never gets old.
I will admit it. That was very nice.
It is not every day I earn praise from the leader of the Dora Milaje.
I appreciate how, and I know we're
Seems like
talking
the
about this
game
with
audio is a
Evan and
little
Hannah in a
low,
second for
but,
writers, then when we get to the voice cast too, how fleshed out and alive the universe is already for Wakanda.
I can't do anything
where it's
about
like,
that.
You know, obviously, there's a history, there's a past, there's a lineage going on here with what's been happening with T'Challa, let alone his relationship with Okoye or anything like that.
Yeah.
Start spending skill points too. I don't need that objective. I'll tell you what, after
lines.
using the old menu for so long, it's very bizarre getting used to the new one.
Yeah, it is crazy.
but I'm sure it's much easier,
It isn't that crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
because there was
we
like
came out of the
7
preview,
tabs
Sandra
at the
and I was
top,
on
and now
the
there's
Comedy
only
Games Daily
4.
talking about it, and
So that's way
I like
easier.
to think I have a good ear for voices in the industry because I know so many people, and like, you know, whenever, you know, we're talking about Dave Fennoy being in the game. Whenever Dave's in a game, I know immediately. And Dave's a great actor, but I just know the tenor and where he is. But if you would have let me play this and not told me ahead of time it was Chris Judge, I would have had no idea. Because obviously you're expecting that, you know what I mean?
It does come out tomorrow.
It comes up so high in the accent. I can't wait to
That's
find out
at.
how you got to the
How do I? What was it?
Oh my God, Deborah. I'm a big
10 a.m.
Deborah
Central,
Wilson fan.
11 a.m. Eastern. That's
Yeah, of course. I see some people
8
talking about it in
a.m.
chat,
for
too.
Pacific time.
Yeah, I'm a big Mad TV gal myself.
So the new
That was my thing. I
event
remember when
is
she
the
started popping up with
Vibranium.
voice acting stuff, like, oh, man,
It's
from
the
Mad
corrupted
TV.
Vibranium
Yeah,
event,
like, you
and
play,
we'll have some
as
quest
they talked
lines
about
that
in
will
War,
unlock
you play,
that unique gear
Star Wars
set
game,
for
and
us,
she pops up, and you're like, oh
and
my
we'll
gosh,
be
she's
able to
fantastic.
use that on all our characters.
Let alone how she's doing.
So we should see some more corrupted Vibranium here in a moment in game, but it's been showing up throughout the environment, and we've had to destroy it.
When we were watching this initially,
Ooh, the dagger
I
throw.
was like, Greg, that's Deborah.
I have not seen this cave since I was training with my uncle. Like stepping into a memory.
Someone says, Greg, you remind me of Ryan Reynolds.
I'm sure a lot of other people are saying really horrible things about that comment, but I'll take it. Thank you very much.
No.
Looking for a way in. Explosives were not a good idea.
And so this is another big, not change, I guess, but one of the things I think that makes War for Wakanda so special and what they're doing here, right, is that as we come in here again, there's all this history to it. You know, he's talking about coming through here with his uncle. He's talking about the history of the Black Panthers. And you'll see in a second as we get in there a little bit more puzzly stuff, which I really appreciate. After so many months, right, of just running through and punch, punch, punch.
Past reaping the souls of Wakanda's invaders. She protects us always.
Babo Lesto says PS4 or PS5. We are playing on a PS5 dev kit. That does mean, of course, that this is not the final build. It's as stable as it can be, and this is from a couple weeks ago. So if anything goes wrong, don't worry about it. Traditional Avengers. Once we go up there, we're not.
And obviously, this team worked on the Tomb Raider games, so I mean, we're seeing
because it's all about the
really good,
Someone's got a
beautiful
question for you,
caves
Greg.
and jungles and stuff like that.
So I was Kamala. What if you got to act in this game? Who would you be?
Interesting. Of course, everyone remembers me from Lego Avengers. I was Aldrich Killian in that video game. I was Aldrich Killian that. So, Crystal, if you want to put in Aldrich Killian as a villain sector, I'm just saying I will gladly keep going. But beyond that, man, that's a great question. I mean,
Okay, little
we
puzzle.
announced a Spider-Man voice actor yet? You know what I mean? Like, come on. I take photos of shirtless Spider-Man all the time. I hear he's coming to this. Spider-Man's coming to this game. Why not? You know, come on. Or just put shirtless Spider-Man in this game.
Shirtless Spider-Man.
So again, Sandra, we come in here. Like, what do you see?
Okay, we
See
got
only
different
buttons?
runes
That's
here.
interesting. We see logos like that. That's interesting.
And
How do you
symbols.
think we get in there, Sandra?
So there might be different
I don't
button,
know.
different combination we have to press.
No, that's not how it is. No, we're gonna use the pads here. So we gotta match up our icons, right? So hold on, we got this weird double triangle.
I love these two colors to get this like gold and the greenish. Greg could voice Throg.
I'm sure Travis Willingham will want that too. Yes, you gotta take everything.
That one I remember.
A lot of people say I gave him the idea for Critical Role.
Mm.
I mean, they're wrong, but they say it.
Oh, there's the Panther.
Moving on.
Tim Geddes from Kinda Funny did voice Throg. That is correct. And which one was that? Lego Marvel Superheroes 2? That's when I was Howard the Duck, and Kevin Coelho was, of course, the Tinkerer. Some say the defining Tinkerer role.
Ooh, look at that climb.
Perfect. If my uncle could see me now.
All right, so
Could be one more.
I love this little piano.
Maybe.
I like the snap.
Yeah.
Or does he need to be pressing these within a certain time?
Well,
Maybe
who
not.
else would you want to be? Like, first off, like when you got the role of Kamala, did you understand what a big deal it was at first?
No idea.
Yeah.
Till I showed up.
No, that
I was
symbol's
like, wait,
not
wait,
it.
no, really.
I'm gonna be an
Really?
Avenger?
There's another one up.
Yeah, how does that work? So, actually,
there.
I'm always torn of if I should keep doing all the puzzles because I don't want to ruin the game for everybody. But you are watching the stream where we play the game. I'm gonna do it anyway.
There it is.
So when you auditioned to be Ms. Marvel, like, did you know you were auditioning to be Ms. Marvel? Did you
I
know
like
Ms. Marvel was
that.
kind of
That's
like the
really
entire
interesting.
story, like
No.
the linchpin of the whole thing?
I didn't know I was auditioning for a Marvel thing at all. I didn't know I was auditioning for a video game. They don't tell you. It's secret, as you
Sure.
can imagine. And then I didn't know what it was until literally like I showed up. They're like, "You're gonna be playing Miss Marvel," and then I did notice like there's like a cast list, and there's like a certain order, right? Of like, okay, well the lead's at number 1, and then da 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 da. And I was like, why am I?
Better gear.
They must have like ordered it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I knew
cool.
the makeup artist really well, and she came up to me. She was like, "Sandra, you're number 1 on the call sheet. You know what that means?" And I was like, "No, girl, they messed up. That's what that meant."
You're like, I wish that was the case, but that's impossible. Why would that happen?
Yeah.
Strange to walk this as the Black Panther. My uncle did his best to prepare me for midnight
Marvel,
war.
stop it.
I hope I do not let him.
I wonder if you
Wait,
could
Kevin,
do
can you
the
hear you?
kinetic thing to grab that energy.
I like your
why?
commentary.
They got turrets,
Before we
they
went
got
live, I was
mines,
kind of
they
funny
got
for Kevin's like,
lasers.
they're not gonna be able to hear me, and then now Kevin's like laughing at me and making fun of me. I'm like, wait, can they be? No, he's just taunting me. Okay. I appreciate that.
Oh, this is awesome. This is fast-paced, dangerous traversal. They were hinting at that. There's going to be lots of gaps where you might fall to your death in the Wakandan jungle and the caves and all that. There's going to be a little more higher stakes than like running through
This is cool.
labs
So
that
you come in here. You
really don't have any
Oh, it's
fatal
not a chest or whatever.
falls
It's not. It's a
or
train.
cities.
This is
that
how
don't
you
really
travel
have
around Wakanda. I
any
point this
place
out because I didn't
to
understand it when
hide.
it first happened. I was like, what's going on?
Think about all this. It is
Grim-
clear Ulysses Claw
Grim
fancies
Her
himself
Gaming
a
says,
technologist.
Greg Godspeed.
A sonic cannon.
Try man.
Perhaps
But it's not hard.
he won't be
Black Panther makes it
capable
easy,
of
honestly.
taking down Wakanda's shields. I
Remember,
have
if you're just joining us, this is the War for Wakanda launch party tomorrow. War for Wakanda comes for free to Marvel's Avengers. 8 a.m. we found out Pacific time. And so today we're playing the first 2 missions. We're talking in a harm room. We're talking to the developers. We're talking to the cast. We're talking to the writers. We're behind schedule, it turns out. I looked over at the clock. I was like, oh. So now I'm like, click. I'm going to start moving at a different pace. You can explore when you get your hands on it tomorrow.
What?
Having too much fun, right?
I know, right? We built the thing being like, oh, it's
drill?
fun to play through. We forgot we'd be talking to you. We'd be going through, looking at that stuff.
Some kind of sharp metal drill.
Uh-oh.
Classic Avengers move.
Now, those are aimed spider bots. But we've never actually fought them. We've just seen them.
Kevin, even though people can't hear you, they're saying they like you a lot in the chat.
I think I clicked something wrong.
That's not good. What happened?
The chat. I think I clicked slow mo.
Oh, that's activated by the mods in the chat. Probably because so many people are watching. They want to make sure it just doesn't go so much that it's nonsense. If somebody's already modded Sandra in Twitch chat, that's a bad move. Take that away. She doesn't understand the power.
You don't.
She can't take this. She doesn't know what she's doing.
I love his voice so much.
Oh, here we go.
We'll be talking to Chris Judge in just a little bit. First, we're going to obviously talk to Hannah and Evan, the writers of the
Hannah and Evan. Oh, Abu. I love Abu. Yes. Brian George is quite the actor.
This room used to be for sparring with other prospective Black Panthers. To sit defiant in this way. Claw and his minions must be stopped.
I mean, I'm moving, Kev. We'll get through it. Don't worry.
If this vibranium
Question
had
for
not been
me.
refined thousands of
Hit
years
what is
ago,
it?
it would have mutated
What
everyone
hero
who
would I
passed.
like to meet next as Kamala? And honestly, it is T'Challa. He's just so cool, and this voice, I can't wait to hear it come together. Because, like, as you can imagine, when you're doing it by yourself, you can only imagine what the other actor sounds like, especially if you don't know who the actor is. So now I know what he sounds like, and I'm so excited to see it kind of come together.
All right, so like I said, Sandra, we're running late, right? It's on me for talking to you, having too much fun. So I'm gonna go through this, but what I want to know is a really cool thing when you go, you look at these things and you kind of get the history of what's going on. But I'm gonna cheat the puzzle and just go. So Sandra, you remember 3 snowflakes?
Okay,
Pizza.
3 snowflakes, pizza.
Square with some stuff on it.
Okay.
A bug.
Bug. I'm gonna
Right,
forget
there's
all
square
that.
with some stuff on it.
I will start
Nope, it
again.
wasn't square with some stuff. Oh, do I have to do an order? Oh god, I forgot I have to do an order.
Oh, I forgot everything already.
No. 3 snowflakes. Pizza. We'll start there.
3 snowflakes, pizza.
Pizza. Then it was square with some stuff on it. We're gonna say square with wings. That's how I'm gonna say it. Square with wings, the bug thing.
And the bug thing. Square with wings and the bug thing.
I mean, that looks like square with wings. Yeah. Alright, then the bug thing. There's the bug thing.
We have like 1,000 people in the chat. Y'all help him out.
No. Oh, Sandra, that's a big Twitch no-no. You'd like to think you could look at the chat and they'd help you. No, no, no. I'm looking at you, chat, aren't I? I'm looking at you, aren't I, chat? I know how you are. I know what you do. I know what you would do there. You tell us all the wrong stuff. Don't fall for that, everybody, all right?
I'm too trusting.
There you go, Wakanda.
Whoa!
I am through.
And Kevin, for purposes, yeah, we're coming up pretty quick here.
The Avengers. What are outsiders doing in Wakandan airspace?
Oh, dude, we're trespassing.
Gideon chat. Sandra is so innocent.
Deal with the Avengers later.
Twitch is a brand new world.
I must take
They show you guys. You show up here. You want to hang out. You love us, and then as soon as you can, though, you will screw with us.
Yeah, someone was like, Greg, you can trust me. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
hey, Greg.
Been burned before.
Trying to get through our shields.
Okoya, have the Dora Milaje and the Avengers keep close men busy. Draw their attention away from the cliffside.
There won't be a problem. But once that shield comes down, they can help you.
Stop him! He can't get to the cannon! I have it handled, sister.
Of course, I should stop and fight all these guys for the XP, but like I said, we're making up time here, folks. There's too much going on in this stream.
I love it.
Evan and Hannah are waiting right now in the wings. They don't want to see me go through and fight all these jabronis.
Oh, look at this. Some deadly jumps here.
That little flip in the air. Love
So
it.
good, right? Yarjuns, is this still the first mission? This is still the first mission. Meaty missions in War for Wakanda.
Thanks for
Guess Claw wasn't exaggerating. Hey, Panther boy.
Hey, Panther boy, excuse me? Talking to a king, rude.
What now?
All right, there's Crossbones.
Like,
Oh, he's got some shields. All right, we're calling in Bass.
Andy, who's this actor? Who is this?
Crossbones?
Yes.
Good one.
I'm gonna give him a call. Excuse me.
Strange choice.
Hit him with the spear.
leg.
This is hilarious.
Keep
We're
that.
making moves. We're making moves.
Yes. Kick it.
That's on me. That's on me, everybody. And also, you know what? I probably have new loot here, don't I? Yep. Bam. There we go.
Bam.
Slightly better
Gotta hit
gear.
him with everything we got, Sandra. We can't be out there.
Yeah,
Lower level.
we're not messing around. This is Avengers.
Oh, you know who he reminds me of? There was an enemy in the Arkham Knight video game that had the big machine gun turret like that. It's kind of a similar fight here.
As you wish.
So he's stunned.
Don't look like you're getting through.
Let's see, now you got to get on the other side of the cannon. I wonder if we should lure him over there. See, he's got a stun meter that's building up as well.
Anyone you like working with? Yeah, everyone is great.
Listen, we all know Troy Baker, not a cool dude. Is there any one person that was actually nice on the set?
No, yeah. I love Brian George so much. The man who plays Abu. So
Yeah, he was really
You guys
cool.
had such a great relationship on
You
screen.
know how to run from it at least.
Also, Usman Ali, who played Modoc, like that guy is incredible, like an incredible actor. Watch him on TV.
What's he on?
Peep.
Oh, yeah.
I'm becoming a god. And
I'd love to see someone doing more of the blocks and parries. So hopefully, when we get in the harm room, we'll get to see some of that, rather than just all the dodging
I don't hate it.
style gameplay here. Come on, you would expect a Cap main would be doing lots of blocks and parries, because there's a lot of joy in being able to do that with a Cap shield.
Get him.
Looks like he lives another day, Sandra.
Yeah, next time I'll kick your butt.
Bring the Avengers to the palace.
Prince Mufasa says suicide question mark?
Nah, he got.
There
he
we
fought
go.
himself. Jeff, Nolan.
Everyone wants me to parry. I just don't do it ever. I just roll.
Wait, Iron Man's mask is
Yeah, I think
up,
it's a visual glitch, like I
but
said.
also down.
It's code, right? And it's also there it goes, pop. Yeah, I think it's just that.
Good. Because he wants to see you.
I'll parry in the next section. I swear for you guys.
Nice.
We're in trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. This is a great point. We're gonna stop here. That's mission complete, the way it began. And so as we do
Nice.
that, we will continue the War for Wakanda launch party here on twitch.tv/Crystal Dynamics, twitch.tv/Square Enix, Play Avengers over on YouTube. And wherever you get all of your Avengers content. Remember, of course, I'm Greg, that's Sandra, and we, for 3 hours today, are running through and doing a whole bunch of different stuff for you. We're playing 2 missions, we're playing a harm room, and we're talking to the people who make this game. So yeah, if you want to start bringing over Evan and Hannah, Kevin, that'd be great. We're bringing over writer Hannah McLeod and narrative designer Evan Narcissus. Kevin, I will rely on you to tell them when to activate their cameras and do all that stuff. But this is the next thing here as we go through to talk about War for Wakanda, of course, launching tomorrow for free if you have Play Avengers.
Yes.
Bam, bam. See, and the
Welcome,
party rolls on. We knew we could do it. Yay!
It's
Our
a
first guest.
party.
Hello, Hannah. Hello, Evan.
Hi.
What's up, y'all?
How you doing?
What's up?
Good. Excited.
Yeah. Hannah, what's it like for you, one of the writers on this game, to be here? People finally looking at it, getting to talk about it, hearing the voice lines you wrote.
Oh my god, it's crazy. Like I've been working on this for so long, and to realize
So
it's
this
coming
is
out tomorrow doesn't
narrative
feel
design
real.
here.
I feel you, girl. I feel you.
And then Evan, yeah, I guess same question for you, of course. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is not Evan's first go around with the old Black Panther. There it is.
Wow.
Little
Okay,
Black
on the
Panther.
iPad. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, I'm a big fan of Comixology. I'm sorry. I still love my local comic book shop. I go there. Look at that. We got it covered on both
Thank
ends.
you. Thank you.
What's it like for you to, expand your portfolio of Black Panther work, I guess, to something that's interactive, that, is going to get to an audience that maybe doesn't read the comics?
I mean, it was that consideration that this would be another mass media adaptation of Black Panther after the character has become a global phenomenon was like so energizing but also daunting, like it was like, wow, people are hungry for more Wakanda, and this video game is going to be one of the first places they can go to revisit it.
Sure.
So that pressure was really intense, but also like, it was kind of liberating to think about how we can make what we can take from the Black Panther mythos and make our own. And Hannah and the team at Crystal Dynamics were really great partners in figuring that stuff out.
Yeah.
Evan,
You were.
Evan, you might just be the most articulate person I've ever seen in real life.
He is, though.
So what a great team this looks like.
And so
we had lots of fun. Go ahead, Greg.
No, please, no. This is the party. We all can just talk. Don't worry about it.
Oh, my question for you, Miller, is it really cold enough to be wearing that jacket, or are you just trying to show off some swag?
First off, it is chilly in the basement. All right. Yeah. And so I put it on, and I do look ravishing in it. All right. So let's not, you know what I mean? I don't come over there. It's so warm. You got to wear this cool print shirt. No, I don't do that to you, Evan. Don't come over here. All right. Don't get
I just want to know. I'm a little jealous. I'm big enough to admit that.
Okay. That's a question I have, though, in terms of you guys working together, right? And, Evan, you're a narrative designer on it. Hannah, you're one of the writers. Hannah, what does that relationship mean to somebody who doesn't know anything about making games like myself?
So, I'm technically a narrative designer / writer on the project, but it really depends on what studio you're at, what that means.
Okay.
Generally, the way I think about it is the writer actually like writes the dialogue, and then the narrative designer has a lot to say about how the narrative comes across in the game. So how lines are implemented, how the story is told through levels, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And so I do a little bit of both of that. And Evan did tons of narrative design direction just in terms of what our story was going to be. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the story was pretty much set. When I came on board, it was more about like, where do we polish? What do we sharpen? What do we accentuate and highlight? And how does that, loop back into the mechanics and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so when that happens, how does that work? Hannah, did you guys already have this outline for what you wanted? Like, obviously, I assume you knew long before launch you wanted Black Panther to be this expansion, this character.
Oh yeah. We had a plot. I think there's two very different aspects to writing for games. There's the overarching plot, which has a lot more to do with like the mechanics and stuff like that, and then there's the characters. And so we had the plot in place, like we knew what the plot was, and then working with Evan was a lot of digging down into the character motivations, why they do what they do, what in their past has led them to where they are now, what choices are they going to make that are still going to feel true to the character. So it was a lot of that stuff, especially with T'Challa. Like we really wanted to show parts of him that maybe we haven't seen before. I think the one note that Evan kept giving me was to remember that he's a scientist, because he's very intelligent. He's actually comparable to the other really smart members of the Avengers. So that was one that we really tried to hone in on, is that he's very intelligent.
I love that so much about this team, by the way. As an actor, it is so fun to work on a fully fleshed out character with an arc and a story and real intentions and motivations, and you guys are really, really smart about that. Of course, like it's never fun to be like, oh, I'm just like gonna say random words for no reason. So thank you guys so much for putting in all that care and effort. It really, really shows.
Oh, thank you.
And so you talk about that Evan, you're very he has to be a scientist. He is a scientist. When you come on this project, and I guess you're given just the plot, you get to fill it in. Where do you start honing in on what Marvel's Avengers Black Panther is going to be?
Part of it is thinking about opportunities that the game will give us that previous adaptations and even comic storylines haven't, right? So, like, okay, Kamala's meeting T'Challa and Shuri for the first time. What is that like?
Sure.
We know she's going to nerd out, but like, about what specifically, right? How does she express her like awe and her awe and awe? And like, what does a dude like Tony Stark think when he's like, the bathrooms here outclass my armor. Like, what is that like? So thinking about those opportunities, and also, like, okay, so this is a character that you can control, right? So, what parts of the environments should have like narrative embedded inside of them, right? And again, some of those decisions were made before I even came on, but it's like figuring out how to deepen them, right? So it's like, you know, in this version of Wakanda, there are like ancestral shrines all over the place, right? So it's like, okay, we can talk about the history of the place in a different way, right? And the
Mhm.
history of the place, because it's an interactive environment, is embedded inside the experience in a different way, right? Like, to compare it to the movie, whereas you might see Warrior Falls in two scenes, here you get to visit a place that has had history attached to it, right? And kind of pull that stuff out. You can go as deep as you want. You can just run through it and fight the bad guys and be done, but you can also you can read every piece of lore, which is how I play video games. So
It
those
broke my
kind of
heart a
things.
second ago to have to run through the thing and not look at the shrines and be
Yes,
like, oh
yes,
god,
yeah,
we're late.
Yeah.
Well, it gives people who are watching this a chance to do it themselves and slow
Exactly,
down.
exactly.
And that's why I didn't parry that much either, because I wanted you to have the ability
Yeah,
to
of
parry
course.
yourself more, right?
Of course, that's why. Yeah.
Hannah, one of the questions I wanted to pull from over on the Avengers subreddit that I got there, right, was Mr. Stash's question. He wrote in and said, how long has it been since the Reassemble campaign to the War for Wakanda campaign universe? Like, have the Avengers been back together for a year or a bit, or has it only been a few months? Obviously, we're going to get more of that as we jump in, but we ended that first mission, right, with Cap and Iron Man are there unannounced. Like, what is going on since 8A 5 years ago and whatever's been happening since the end of the actual game?
Yeah, absolutely. So our thought process is it's only been a few months. So each new release, each new pack, so Kate and Clint and War for Wakanda are consecutive. So they happen one after another after another. And so the Avengers are still, it's pretty tenuous. Their public perception of them has not shifted a ton since the end of the Reassemble campaign. So yeah, they've only been back together for a little while. The idea of Wakanda's story in this is that before 8A, T'Challa and Cap were they're friends, and they were in discussions of a possible alliance between the Avengers and Wakanda. And then 8A happens, and Wakanda's like, I'm out. Nope. It was a mistake. And so they've been in isolation for 5 years during that time. And then, of course, AIM has now built up their power and they want more. So they enlist this mercenary Ulysses Claw to get them vibranium. And so that's sort of how Wakanda is pulled back into all of this madness.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants vibranium.
Of course, yeah. Best stuff on Earth.
Yeah.
Evan, when you're coming in as somebody who's already written a Black Panther comic, knows it so well, right? Because you're a huge fan too, obviously.
Yeah.
How do you come in and craft this Wakanda, this T'Challa, this Shuri to be something people recognize, especially off of obviously the MCU and what a big touchstone that's been, a milestone it's been, like you said, getting to come back and celebrate it, have it be familiar but be different and be intriguing?
One of the things, Greg, is like a game like this, because there's NPCs and there's overheard dialogue, you really get a texture of what Wakandan culture is on the ground, right? Like, what are the subjects over whom T'Challa rules? Like, what do they think about the job he's doing, or the fact that all these Avengers are up in their business now? Like, so that kind of stuff is really enriching, right? And it feels like, okay, this is something we can do that's different than the movie. Or even some of the comics, So that aspect is one thing, like putting characters like Captain America in close proximity to T'Challa is always fun, because those characters always had a kinship in the comics, and like reinforcing that. And hopefully, look, I'm gonna be blunt. One of my big desires here is like, yeah, let's use this game and the popularity of this release to pull people back to the source material, right? Which I feel like is so rich and so deep. So thinking about opportunities where the different iterations of a character can talk to each other across different media is like always super fun to me, So like there's stuff in here, like there's like a little moment between Clint and T'Challa where it's like, if you know, it's kind of referencing the kind of weird antagonism they had in the movies, but like it's not dependent on you knowing that stuff, but like if you do, you enjoy it. So that kind of like multi-layered experience, like I think is one of the things that
I like that.
a game like this, an expansion like this, is really uniquely suited to handle.
Sure. Hannah, you talked about, when Evan comes on, you guys have already had this outline. You knew what your plot, you wanted your plot to be. How do you come up with that plot? Is that just organic of, all right, cool, everything that happens in the core game, and then obviously with Clint and Kate afterwards, but everything that's happening there, AIM is going to start, spreading out. Monica is going to get crazier and crazier, that you need to go see who it would actually be that she goes after?
It's sort of two-pronged, because obviously we're always thinking of what is Monica up to. She's definitely our big bad. She was the surprise, come in at the end and has survived all of the madness with MODOK. So there's always the thought to, okay, what is Monica's plan now? What would she possibly be interested in? But the other piece of it is, what characters and worlds would bring more value to the overarching Korean invasion story? So trying to think about how each of the puzzle pieces can be put in place to set us up for that big climax. And so that's really where a lot of the Wakanda discussions came from. And then we also just really wanted to do justice to some characters, especially like Ulysses Claw, that maybe people haven't seen a ton of.
Yeah, he was hardly in the Black Panther movie. He was just kind of barely in it.
So this gives us the chance to sort of craft some villains that are very different from MODOK, who maybe don't think that they're the hero of their own story, and are much more they're doing their thing for personal motives, and they know that they're personal. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Such a different vibe than MODOK.
I think MODOK genuinely believed he was doing the right thing for most of his experience, and I think Claw does not have any illusions as to what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. You just want to yell at Claw. MODOK, you just want to stay away, kind of.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Me. I'm afraid of everything.
Interested
Anyway.
to see how
for
effective
Claw,
the
even in the
projectile
War Game,
block
right,
is
where
on the
he
beads.
literally
Yeah.
says, right?
That's what I want to
have a
know.
vendetta against
I
you
want to
as
see
Black
more
Panther.
on that.
He's dead. This will have to do. All right, cool, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the beads will
That's
seek
not
out
the
enemies to
normal way
hurt
that you
them.
see it go
They
for
will
most
also
of the villains
seek
who
out
think
your
they're the
friends
heroes.
to
No,
heal
I don't
them.
think
And
those are- I like that. I
you
like
notice
that.
they kind of floated
So,
around
yeah.
Black Panther and
Evan,
kept
for
him
you, again,
protected for
knowing so much
a
about
short
Black Panther,
time.
having written
So
comics
yeah,
from
I'm interested to see how
what's
those
your
beads work.
favorite thing about War for Wakanda?
They
Like,
will
what
do
stands
some
out when you
harm
think,
room stuff
this is
after
what's special
this,
about this?
and hopefully they'll go a little more
it's
in
funny,
depth
it's
on
kind of
that.
linked back to your other question about making this iteration different. Some of the changes to T'Challa's backstory are really fun. Like I remember when Hannah and the team walked me through it, I was like, "Word, y'all are doing that? Okay." So you let the giddiness pass, and you're like, "Okay, so here's how we can use that, to influence our approach to this version of the character." And the same thing with Claw. It's like, okay, well, the changes for this version hopefully make like the texture of the characters different, right? He's still that dude, with the big like sound blaster on his arm and that weird face and kind of a no-nose situation happening. But like how he gets there is a little bit different. And I think
that's interesting. It's good to have different interpretations.
One of my goals was like, all right, if you're a dude like me who's loved this character his entire life, why should I show up? Is this going to be a replay of the stuff I'm already familiar with and experienced? What's going to be different here? So that I think is the biggest draw for me, but also like, Black Panther's shown up in video games before, but he's always been like a side character. Like, all right, we'll do here's some vibranium as part of the plot. We'll do this mission, and we'll go to Wakanda, and then we're bounced. But no, it's like it's here. It's like he's central. It focuses on him, and that feels really special.
Absolutely.
And then Hannah, what about you? Same question.
Oh God. Can I see two things?
Of course, you can say as much as you want. You were one of the writers on the game, and this is the launch party for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
The first thing that's probably my favorite is we had to figure out exactly what each hero's personal relationship was to T'Challa, as well as their opinion of Wakanda. And a lot of that gets to be explored in our new outpost, the Bir Ninzana outpost. And Keanu Robin and Jessica Krause worked a lot of the narrative for that section, and they developed a relationship between Thor and Wakanda that is like one of the funniest, like best moments ever. So please go talk to Thor when you go to the outpost, because it's just Like,
Mm.
Making
I
a note.
would
I'm
never
making a
thought
note
of it.
because we're
Yeah.
going right after this. We're right back into
That
it.
sounds
Yeah,
unique.
I like it. And then on my side of things, there's an Intel document, and the Intel documents kind of turn into sort of monologues of sorts for the actors to perform.
Which I
like
enjoyed
the
that. I
fan fiction
really
that
thought
I've
that
had
was
Sandra
cool.
do as Kamala.
Loved it.
There's one from T'Challa's point of view. Yes. Oh my God, I have it on my wall back here
I
too.
got all my props
got
here.
it
I got all
framed.
my props here.
Um, yeah,
Love
there's there's an Intel document that you can pick up from T'Challa's perspective about one of the backstory tweaks that we make. And when Chris Judge performed it, we were all crying on the Zoom call. Like, it was so incredible. I mean, obviously there was a ton of stuff going on last year, and that had, came with part of it. But his performance, I feel like that was the time where I was like, no other actor could have done this. Like, I'm so glad we got Chris, because I don't think any actor could have gone where he went with that. So keep your eyes out. You'll know which one it is. It's really obvious. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorites, is that everything had to come together for Chris to perform those lines.
And his performance, I was saying while we were playing, right, is just off the charts. Like, I can't get over the fact that this is Chris Judge, like somebody whose voice I feel like I know so well, but then you play this and it doesn't sound like him. He really is lost in that character.
Yeah, it's amazing. I still can't believe he said yes.
Okay, so that's what's special about it. I'm trying to get the show back on stream on time schedules here and everything else. So I do want to know, like, what's on the tip of your tongue, Evan? Like, what do you want people to know about this expansion, or what's your favorite memory from it, or anything that you would want people to know before they set off on it tomorrow?
The way it kind of honors and remixes some of the source material from the comics, but also charts its own story. There's always been this delicious tension between T'Challa and the Avengers, even if you go back to some of the Silver Age stories, and this mines that to like such an incredible degree. Like, it's just like, are y'all gonna get along? And that is such a great part of the story, I think.
Okay, Hannah, same question for you.
I really just want them to fall in love with Wakanda the way we did. I feel like that was sort of our driving force in everything from every single team. It was this deep love of Wakanda. I mean, it's such a symbol of hope and idealism, but also like so textured. There's so many different layers to it. So I hope people love Wakanda. I mean, Black Panther's awesome, don't get me wrong, but he's got an entire nation that comes with him that is amazing.
I don't think it'll be too difficult to fall in love with Wakanda. And the story you've created, and of course all the great voice acting, and the art is just gorgeous. So I don't think it'll be too difficult.
And yeah, that's
the amount of work.
Sorry,
Greg. Oh, please. If I can really quickly, the amount of work that all the visualization teams, animation, design, everything from concept onto the final execution is just amazing. Because again, the pressure of having to imagine a new version of Wakanda that's interactive, and you can walk up to that tree and see like, oh, okay, how do they integrate the technology into the environment? Like, that stuff is utterly amazing.
That's cool.
I've loved it. I mean, I was on Wakanda back when it was just gray boxes, and as they started bringing things in and figuring out what the look and feel of the country was, it was just like mind blown constantly. Our art team they really went all out.
Yeah.
And at the risk of sounding like a shill, sorry, Greg, this is how excited I am.
Stop apologizing. Joey, tell everyone who's going to be coming and it is a launch party. We are hanging out and having fun. And it's a stupid pandemic, so we all have to be on Discord so people stop and go, you talk. You have fun. You made this. Be proud.
No one should apologize to Greg ever. No one apologizes to Greg. I hope your wife is listening. Don't apologize.
But just to finish my thought, some of the suits in this are amazing, and there's some really deep cuts to the comic book lore in the suits that are just. I saw that, was like, no, well done, guys.
That's really
cool.
When
I went through naming the suits, it was purely to get Evan's approval. I'd name it and be like, look what reference I slipped in. Look at this.
They did it. They've cleaned up their act here, right? Because when it was press preview and I got to go through this, of course, the first thing I did was jump in and look at the suits, right? And then I did the same thing today. But when I did it, they still had the marketplace up. And so there were so many. And I'm like, I am going to spend so much money on this. You know what I mean? Like, I need all of these suits.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, how much money is it going to be?
And doing this. Congratulations on the launch.
Thanks for having us, Greg. Thanks.
Thank you to Sandra too. I haven't seen you in forever.
I miss you. Yay! Thank you guys.
All right, y'all. Enjoy. Thank you.
We're going right back to Wakanda now with more gameplay. Kevin, if you want to switch over to that graphic, I can't see if you already did. You might have already. No, you didn't already. We're gonna kick over here. We're gonna pick right back up with the story here as we walk into the Wakanda throne room.
Cool.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, Evan, Hannah, turn off your cameras. Sorry. Well, good job, Kevin. Look at that. Like I said, party. I like how Sandra's slowly lobbying to get even more Ms. Marvel time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I missed you too. Put me in the game. We can if you put me in the next expansion. Put me in the next mission. All right, Sandra, you ready to jump back in?
Yes, let's go.
We'll go everybody back to it, and I will pair you this time, even though I don't think it is needed as much as you see. I will be quiet.
Wow. My boy.
Okay, we got Jeff, we got Nolan.
Yeah, see, the Iron Man bug is my fault. I put him in that thing. I should have left him in the other skin. That's me. Again, pre-release content.
You made it.
King T'Challa, Princess Shuri, we didn't know AIM was following us. If we had...
Do you know why AIM has taken a sudden interest in my country?
It likely has something to do with us stealing a very powerful weapon of theirs. And destroying another one.
I see. If it is any comfort, you did not lead advanced idea mechanics to our doorstep.
We've been swatting them like flies for weeks.
So you know about the corrupted vibranium? What it can do to things. And people.
We are working on a treatment for those affected by it. And are narrowing down its source, but... How do you know about it?
Because we've seen it outside of Wakanda.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Ulysses Claw is doing more damage than we anticipated. He's the head of AIM operations here. From the information we've gathered, he's deeply entrenched in the black market vibranium trade, like his father was.
You're not concerned?
Only by his sonically based technology. It disrupts anything made of or powered by vibranium, including our shields and scanners. But AIM will not be cloaked forever. I can promise you that.
We believe that technology has something to do with the corruption.
Then we made it just in time.
To offer help.
To ask for yours. Now that we know AIM's involved, we can give you information, if you need it. But vibranium is your specialty.
Map the locations of corrupted vibranium outside of Wakanda. We need to know how far it has spread and plan a dispersal method for medical treatments.
I'm on it.
Have a look around. You can see what we are already doing to fight Claw and AIM.
And hopefully make ourselves useful.
I like that tension.
Captain Rogers, can you meet me in my lab?
All right, so here we go. First chance we can actually explore Wakanda.
I'm on my way.
Because just look at it, Sandra. Look at the detail.
I am humbled.
Oh, man. This looks sick. Look at the reflective floors, too. Oh, he slammed the spear down as Cap walked by.
Do you keep in touch with any of the Avengers? You know? Yeah?
Yeah, double helmets. Yeah, that's a bug because this is a pre-release build played on a PS5 dev kit.
Okay.
I met him.
So yeah, we will see some bugs here and there.
Thank you. Now, I am surprised the corrupted...
And this is cool that Tony's immediately placed himself next to Shuri because he's probably really interested in their technology.
About the Kimoyo network.
Kimoyo?
The Kimoyo beads.
Well, part of it.
In cap speak, it's the internet, but better. Much better.
Kimoyo network
Better
provides
internet.
our people access to all of Wakanda's collected knowledge. We use it for communication, transportation, and a great many other things. All thanks to our Kimoyo beads.
And she won't let us have one.
Mhm. Yeah.
We have been using the network to keep track of Claw's movements. He is quiet for now, but if he makes any noise, our warriors will find him.
Well, I don't doubt it.
Thank you for the data, Captain. And when you get a moment, there is someone else who wants to meet you.
Who's that?
If the honored guest could come down.
Oh,
Chambers, I would appreciate it.
Zawavari. Okay, the mystic dude.
Oh, that's new.
Look at how awesome. Even the doors open really cool. I wonder if we'll get to meet
Like 5 steps
all
forward.
the different
Captain America.
people
Yeah.
from the different
Oh, look who it is.
regions.
Who is it?
You.
Oh.
Me or were those guards
Hey.
staring from?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's Kamala and Hawkeye hanging out.
That's weird.
Sounds like you know why.
You're the minority now. This is just how things are.
What? Really?
Yep.
Oh man, that sucks.
It's not all bad. For every person who stares, there's like 1,000 who smile for you. Who welcome you for being different. For being you.
That's really nice, actually.
I have my moments.
That was you, Sandra. That was you. So uplifting,
Yay.
as always.
Yeah. It's like there was a console
I feel
there.
like the amount of times I say, good isn't a thing you are, it's a thing you do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you every time. Thank you, Abu.
Yeah.
What? They barred one of the doors? That's awesome. So this is how social spaces could potentially expand and be
Yeah.
bigger and more exciting and more feature laden.
The sucker for a good candle.
Can't imagine how.
Lavender
Is they
all
named
the
the city
time.
after you? Oh, pipe down. I have a guest. Ah, Steve Rogers, the Captain of America. I am honored.
The Captain of America.
King Azuri always spoke fondly of his encounter with the American Iceman.
The feeling's mutual.
The American Iceman.
I am the mystical advisor to the Wakandan royal family. May I ask you a favor, Captain?
Always.
The young king seems to trust you. Do not make him regret that decision.
I won't take our position lightly. I promise.
In return, a secret. The gods have far more to do with Wakanda's impressive technology than you might guess. As Sneaks, the princess's assistant, minion. I will tell him I sent you.
Your guidance is appreciated.
And may the Orisha guide you as well, Captain.
Look, we got Thor over here. We were told to talk to Thor. That's one note. Talk to Thor from Hannah. All right.
There he is.
Thor! Didn't expect to see you in a place like this.
Midgard's sorcery has always piqued my interest. And the royal shaman is quite amusing.
He doesn't mind you going through all of his stuff.
What? Of course not. We're the best of friends already.
We are not.
Okay, I'll leave you to it.
That would be for the best.
Oh, dude, this
Yeah,
is great.
just see how that
There's so much more lore and interaction between all the characters. Which, you know, we got to see during the single-player campaign, but now we're sort
Yeah,
of,
like that, yeah.
you know, seeing it in the broader world and consistently.
Zaravari, your communication bead is still functioning on your Komoyo bracelet, right? Because sending people messages inside their head is unsettling. Oh, they are here. Shh.
This is quite the workstation.
Combat research and development, all of which is now available to you as well. You may thank Princess Shuri for that.
I will. You working on anything interesting?
Take a look. Zawavari has been helping me uncover
He's a
the more
gear vendor.
mystical properties of vibranium. Perhaps you'll reap the benefits, should you prove yourself a worthy ally of Wakanda.
That's a lot to live up to.
So, probably a new faction that we're gonna have to work with
That's nice meeting you, Nix.
to unlock their
Steve,
gear.
We need you in the war room upstairs.
So obviously,
Captain
War for Wakanda
Okoya wants to
introducing
brief
new
us.
armor types
Something
and
about
gear
malfunctioning
sets
security
and
systems.
Get the Sonic stuff.
I'll be there ASAP.
The vibranium, you get it. New war table too. Look at that. Ah, Sandra, where we'll take all our missions.
Ooh.
This is such a cool space.
Captain Okoye, what seems to be the problem?
King T'Challa has a request. Our scouts have reported Claw is mobilizing his forces throughout Wakanda with remarkable ease.
We believe Claw's found a blind spot in Wakanda's security systems. Okoye will investigate and will reinforce if necessary.
Claude does seem to know what he's doing.
Many have tried to conquer Wakanda, to rob us of our heritage. As you can see, they have all failed.
There was a train in the background.
We'll help you however we can.
Good. You have permission to use our war
Here we go.
table.
Let's get to it.
Let's put that vibranium of yours to good use, Captain.
Thank you, Okoye.
Booyah!
Yeah.
Oh, Black Panther's harm room is available. Okay, so that's probably where the single player tutorial ends, is after that first mission. And then the rest of this is supposed to be co-op.
You're gonna make me spend a lot of time in photos.
Yeah,
and,
see,
well,
this is
yeah.
the first mission that says 1 to 4 players.
Totally. Especially with all the cool suits and all the new looks and all the.
So yeah, they did want to introduce
Yeah,
Black
I
Panther,
love
sort of a
the
single player thing.
variant. I need that for the more traditional cap skin. Obviously, I have one I'm wearing now, but you know.
You just wanted to show off this suit.
As usual, I have no idea what you're talking about. I recognize the Avengers as allies of Wakanda.
Thank you. I hope we do you justice.
Are they gonna shake hands? Fist bump? Hug?
That's my brother's version of a warm welcome. You will also have
Prince
to get
Mufasa
used to
says
that.
Shuri sounds great. That's Erica
You
Luttrell.
finally agree to accept help, and it is from
alongside
outside
the
us.
rest of the cast.
That is not like you.
I am not accepting help. I am giving it.
Then let me send teams to the corrupted sites. Take the Dora Milaje with you when you confront AIM. Do something other than driving yourself headfirst into danger.
I am not just a king on a throne. I am the Black Panther.
Then show us you can be both.
I will.
Ooh, the tension between brother and sister.
By him,
Avengers, I hope you have familiarized yourselves with the palace by now.
Your people have been most welcoming. I'd like to see more of Wakanda once Claw's been dealt with.
You're such a tourist.
A tourist? In Asgard, we call that adventuring.
It's an emergency transmission.
This is Okoye. You're being pushed back. We need assistance.
You cannot handle close forces alone.
He's not just Claw. He has turned our defense systems against us.
Impossible.
We've lost her signal. If Claw has broken the Kimoyo encryption, something is very wrong.
Then I think it is about time the Avengers see what the Black Panther is truly capable of.
It would be an honor to tag along.
Move fast. I do not like the idea of Claw hacking our technology.
Of course, in the war table, they pointed out nearly all the missions would be multiplayer for War for Wakanda. They said in the thing, right, of course, that it would be like, hey, you got to do the initial one. Here's where you start playing with the Avengers. Obviously, you can start having people searching. Oh, no. Again, we've said this before. Debugs, pre-release code.
Okay.
Don't, Sandra, don't throw it in my face. I swear.
Okay.
Look at the new ship too that we're flying around in the War for Wakanda.
Alright, we're gonna try it again here. It's always good when you look over at the Crystal Dynamics representative and he just shrugs. I love it. Thank you very much. Again, I mean, we were behind schedule, so it doesn't matter. Pick it up. Hold on, let me get back to the war tip. I love the shrug.
Oh my gosh, the shrug.
I love these like lines that fade in and out of your headphones. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, as you run by him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with the dialogue so far. I'm very impressed.
Okay, try it again.
It's good to see more of that.
Skip the cutscene once I can.
Yeah, we already saw this, so they're gonna skip that cutscene. Start up the
Avengers,
mission.
I hope you have familiarized yourselves with.
So hopefully they're able to launch.
Ah, download failed. Mission download server boarding mission. Now, Sandra,
Greg.
here's where lesser hosts, lesser producers would panic. You know what I mean? We're supposed to play the second mission. If something's wrong with this debug stuff on the unreleased code that's already being, prepped for blah blah blah, we don't panic.
No,
Kevin.
we're calm.
Kevin, do you read me? Can we play the second mission that I gave you, the video? Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. We planned for what if Greg dies? What if I explode? What if there's a gas leak? What if a dinosaur tears apart my house? What if Sandra has to host this by herself? We've backed contingency plans. Everything's gonna be fine.
Oh no.
Bananas in the chat says, yeah, do you have Black Panther's harm room? Yeah, we have Black Panther's harm room. And guess what? You were already gonna get Black Panther in a harm room with the 150 character. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it
We're not
looks like
burning that
they've,
here. We're not using that here. That's coming up later.
Like they've been disconnected from the internet throughout this, and maybe it requires that they be online to play it.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Love
Maybe it requires an online connection or something. Because I did notice before that it said that they weren't connected to the Square Enix servers. Yeah.
There you go. Can you scrub through to when we launch the mission?
Thank you, Karmic Justice.
Be honest. You just wanted to show off.
It only took me 14, 15 years in the industry to have a backup. You know what I mean? Because 3 years ago, I want to know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Easy Allies is hosting this. They panic. They jump out the window. But us, kind of funny. We're fine. We got it.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you.
Sandra,
I hope we do you justice.
Yes.
what is standing out to you most so far as we go and watch all this War for Wakanda stuff?
I like the voice acting a lot.
Sure, that counts.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, are we in? Excellent. Well, it's that thing. I didn't know if people were seeing what I was seeing. So here we go. We're off to the races here as we watch pre-game demo. I know Greg's not playing. You're upset about it. I understand, but don't
potentially someone who actually parries and blocks and uses the kinetic abilities of Black Panther.
8 a.m. Pacific time.
Just saying.
Here we go. Finally we get to see Black Panther team up with the Avengers and brawling through there, and that's what it's all about, Sandra. Teaming up.
Yeah. We're a team. I wonder when Chris Judge is coming soon. Soon. Chris Judge, Erica, Deborah, Dave. We got this.
They're all coming through to talk about their roles in the game. Don't you worry, the cast is up next.
Okay, these guys are level 37 now.
That's you again. In bacon.
My eyes are just. Hey.
Wow.
Thank you.
So that wasn't alright.
Yeah, I know, right? I still like the little lines of dialogue back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, giving each other
How did cause people get inside the pass?
They must have stolen Kimoyo beats. I will track the ones they used. Shut them out of the network.
This will take us near the border.
back into that tram I was talking about.
Just the animations are really incredible.
I'll tell you what. So last week, obviously, Sandra, I got to go preview this down at Crystal. Talk about it on the shows, and then obviously.
Okay.
Listen, you made your choice, all right? You decided you wanted to live in LA and you wanted to be an actress. I hope it's working out for you. I decided I wanted to live outside, really make rent, and go play video games, all right? So I get to play things every once in a while. That's karmic justice. But when I was over there playing it, right, loved it, obviously, came back, and then it was this weird weekend where all I wanted to do was play more and grind Black Panther, but I was like, I still don't have it, so I turned it on and deal with like the old, it's still current, look for menus and stuff for Avengers, try to play other stuff, and I was like, it's just not hitting the same way, so I'm very excited for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Better hurry than Orphan King.
I want to just like hang out here.
Now, it's funny you talk about hanging out here, right? This is obviously, the new kind of elevator here. One of the things I've seen get so much traction in the post-launch of Avengers, right? The life as it lives on and keeps going. Are all the conversations you guys get to have in the elevators? Where, especially when they, finally put out the PlayStation 5 version, load times were so much quicker that people were missing out on elevator content, right? Like, you can get out of it if you don't want to, you miss it. When you guys recorded those conversations, how did that work? Is that stuff you're doing on
Cargo Synth Runner?
mocap set? Is that stuff?
Is that what that is? No?
Like
Yes?
Talking about where
Yes.
you're just, in your closet doing
That's
this? 'Cause
loot
it
right
sounds
there.
so
Oh my
organic.
gosh, it's so
there was one the other
painful.
day that I think
Please
I
kill
saw,
that.
It was either Goldfarb talking about it or it was the subreddit. Oh man, like you're talking to Tony's like,
Oh,
"Hey,
he's
do you
probably
have any
gone.
questions for me? It's like, what's it like having Cap as a leader? I was like, such a great dunk on him. But it sounds so natural. Is that stuff that was already written? Is that all improv? What's going on with that?
Sometimes we riff and like I don't know what they keep and what they don't.
Sure.
But we do have.
Oh, so when you
all that
charge
does
up
sound
the
like
ranged
the
attack,
stuff
it's
we do
almost
in
like
Fire
throwing a
Song.
boomerang
So we
because
get
it
all
kind of
those lines
swooped around and locked
cool,
on.
and then you do see the lines coming before and after you.
So
and
the
of course,
daggers
keeping in
become a little
mind,
more
like,
precise.
No one's gonna be saying those lines, so like I know him. They're gonna be snarky AF. So like, so yeah, I think knowing each other and having had worked together on the mocap stage definitely informs my behavior and my responses.
So those were unblockable.
Oh yeah.
Or you have to be really precise. But I usually use the phrase unblockable. So there are a mix of aimbots because it looks like they are invading together. So that's the charged ranged attack right there. That was really cool.
See, this is even. Why were we gonna? They're gonna have me play this whole thing. This is an upgraded Black Panther. Look, he was throwing like shurikens there. I'm just throwing straight knives. He was throwing them with a curve. That's awesome. We're gonna see all that. Obviously, more coming up in the harm room, going through and seeing what the actual skill tree looks at, a bit more buffed up. But for now, hot on the trail of one Ulysses Claw.
We should destroy it. The spire is shielded when in this state.
Rico, DeLeon Frosty says, Sandra, you killed it as Kamal. I love your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Question over here was this gameplay recorded on a PS4 or PS5? This was recorded on a PlayStation 5 as well. Yeah, I'm not being corrected by Crystal Dynamics.
Hi, Crystal Dynamics.
MRKO in the chat says, show us the challenge card. I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went and looked at them. Oh, wait, no, yeah, remember I tried to and it was turned off. They're smart with what they're doing with the thing, so I can't show you everything. They want you to play it tomorrow, I guess. They want you to download it and be excited for something tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
Can't spoil everything for you.
I'll try though. When we get to the harm room, I'll try again to ruin it for you.
Yes, thank you, CD Debs, for all your hard work. Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, the pounce!
Ooh.
Oh, got interrupted though.
We're gonna do our base in the last 5 minutes, even less than that actually. At 11:45, we're gonna bring on the cast here. You'll get Christopher Jones, you'll get Deborah Wilson, you'll get Erica Luttrell, you'll get Dave Fenoy. All come here and talk.
So
about
that's
this,
the
obviously.
beads right
If
there.
you
The
wanna
Kamoyo
play this,
beads
if you wanna
were
see how this
targeting
mission
that
ends,
guy
you can,
there.
Of course, go tomorrow to your copy of Avengers. And
So you
download
see those
War for
purple
Wakanda
beads.
for free, of course, like all the other expansions, all the other characters. Remember, of course, if you're a lapsed fan, no judgment here. All right. Of course, I'm not lapsed. I've been here the whole time. But if you, for some reason, said, you know what, I gotta go do other things. You got Clint, you got Kate, you got an Omega threat level. If I doubt you're ready for it if you haven't been playing. Am I right, Sandra?
You're right.
They got no exotics. They don't know what they're doing over there. You get out of here. You got a villain sector with Monica. You got so much more stuff to play. But of course, War for Wakanda launching tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Greg, do you remember what?
So his kinetic shield was blocking those lasers as he was running into it, and he was like
that must be an elevator
harnessing
conversation. I don't remember
that.
that as a plot point in the movie, or the movie. Gosh, I'm
No,
sorry,
it was definitely an elevator.
Yeah. I just remember you with that Slurpee.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also, is it weird when I refer to Kamala Khan as you? To you?
I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Like, I understand there's a difference, everybody. All right.
So these guys are new. They have drones. I guess they fly around and they try to disrupt you, and then they also buff enemies.
Well, what's these?
Yeah. I know Abu, like...
Oh, so that's what he's throwing. It's almost like an axe that he's created out of all those daggers. He sort of puts them together, and it
Can I scratch my arms? Not really, I'm not as flexible.
becomes this device. Okay, and he finally hit that drone that was circling around him.
Chat, you know what I mean?
So I guess that was a debuff.
Okay.
Is that like your nightmare as an actress?
What?
Of like you're at a panel and like people are like, I have a question for you. When it's something like you said like obviously 4 years ago in a recording booth, you're like, I don't remember what that is.
I'm used to it by now. I get asked so many questions that like I cannot remember the answer to. Like I don't know. No shame.
You're like, listen, I'm glad it made an impact on you.
Yeah.
Study Drop D says I can trust him or her or them because I said I don't know who I can trust in chat, but apparently I can
Sonic
trust
disruption.
Study Drop D. So I will from here on out. Study.
It's such a cool effect. Look at that. That was really neat. Oh. Kamala getting that takedown.
Just working these people.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you get for invading Wakanda. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this of course is the second campaign mission for War for Wakanda. You get to play it tomorrow, so we don't have to worry about ruining it or showing you. You already see Black Panther's pretty dope, and if you look at him, you're like, I don't know, if Black Panther's all that dope to play as. Guess what? You'll get to find out a little bit later today when we go into the harm room with a leveled up Black Panther and get to show off some of the cool combos, movesets, stuff like that. Go through and pick some stuff. But for right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Kevin to start bringing over the cast. Of course, we're going to bring over Christopher Judge. We're going to bring over Deborah Wilson. We're going to bring over Erica Lachar. We're going to bring over Dave Fenoy. We're going to have a big old conversation about what it's like to be in.
Wait, that's not Greg
Dave
Miller.
Fenoy's turning on his camera. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how you feeling? What's going on?
I'm feeling good, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
All right. Yeah, Sandra, you turn off your camera, and then Chris, Deborah, Erica, you feel free to turn on your camera. Look, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
Hi guys.
Well, Christopher Judge, you need to turn your camera. There it is. Bam, we did it. Look at it. We made it happen, everybody. The cast of War for
Alright,
Wakanda is here.
I'll
Hello,
disappear
Dave.
for
Hello,
a second,
Deborah. Hello,
so
Chris.
I'm not
Hello, Erica.
blocking
How
anything.
are all of you?
So good.
Hey, doing great.
Let's.
That's what I love to hear. I'm so excited to do this with all of you. Of course, I've been banking my own questions for quite some time. I have a whole bunch of questions from everybody else, but let's start right at the top, all right? Christopher Judge, how do you do this with your voice? All right?
We're just jumping right into this, aren't we?
Hey, man, I'm here to keep a launch party going, Chris, all right? Get on my level.
How do I do what with my voice?
I think as I've joked around before on the stream, right? I feel like I have a good ear for voiceover. Whenever Dave Fenoy pops up in a trailer, I know it's Dave, and I call out Dave and I yell at that it's Dave. Sometimes I text Dave. For you, this T'Challa sounds nothing like your Kratos. It sounds nothing like you just speaking here. Like, was that hard for you to do? How did you get into that space?
It was extremely difficult because this is my moneymaker.
Yeah.
So I wanted to really dive in and really explore the voice, and with the help and guidance of the wonderful Beth McGuire, I was coerced, tempted, forced to explore other areas of my instrument.
You talk about exploring this. One of the questions I think everybody had across the board, right, was put most eloquently, I think, by Six Black Falcon, who wrote in and said, how long does it take to master the accent? Deborah, when you get this role, this is a question for the entire panel. When you get this role, like, how do you start approaching this character of Okoye?
First of all, it's not a challenge to approach the character itself. It's more of a challenge to approach the dialect, and that really is very important. So we know that Okoye in general, whether you've never read the comics or whether you know of her and have never seen the film itself, you know that she is a strong leader of the Dora Milaje. And you know that she is a loyalist, and you know that she would die for her king and for her country. And you know that she's adept intellectually and physically, and she has all of that prowess in there. So coming from that strength, you're strengthening your body, your mind, and everything that you're going to do. To me, that comes first. Once I strengthen up and shore up and my shoulders are back, my diaphragm then becomes more ready for me to be able to take on what I need to do. So when it came to Beth McGuire, even though it was a challenge, I was glad that it was a challenge, because as Okoye, I will hit that challenge, I will meet that challenge, and I will surpass that challenge. And so I really looked forward to Beth continuing to guide me and shape me and mold me, because that's where Okoye's strength comes from. It comes from in taking on these tasks and then surpassing them.
I feel like every Monday morning I need to call Deborah for a pep talk. Like, I'm ready to take on the world right now.
Yeah, you know why?
You mean you don't?
Then I would be your alter Negro. That's all. I would be your alter Negro. I said it. I went full screen.
She said it.
This is your
Whoa.
watch party. You go full screen anytime you want to, all right? You get out there, Deborah. Erica, was it the same for you and Shuri? Did you put your shoulder back, your diaphragm out, and feel like you're going to take on the world?
I don't know about yes. I don't know. There was definitely a posture for the accent and for the characterizations and for where the voice sits in your body. Like, you kind of have to, tip your head up. Like, you can't slouch into it, interestingly enough. So it was just, there was a lot of sort of like back of the head vibration. I remember Beth being like, you need to hear it back here, or feel it back here, and sort of resonate, which is very different from your natural speaking voice. It was a lot of technical stuff to get into the voice. So, yeah.
Dave, what about you? I want to make sure we go full circle with everybody. Like, how did you go for this?
One of the things I would say, I have not mastered this particular accent, which is why Beth was on set all the time. When I say on set, on the Zoom call, got it pretty good. But after every take, that you felt good about, where you felt like the acting was right, and you're right in there with the character, oh man, that felt great. And now the Beth test.
Yeah.
And sometimes, oh, that was great, keep going. And sometimes, oh, that word there. No, that O needs to be like this. No, you need to hit that letter. So there are a lot of accents that I do I don't have to think about. This wasn't one of them.
Right. It's so interesting what Deborah said about your posture, your body, because I felt like at the size I was, that I couldn't do the voice. So I actually lost about 20 pounds, to be more lithe, more agile, more as I envision T'Challa's physicality to be, because I was having real difficulties when I was kind of more muscular, and I felt heavier, and I felt the only place I could go was to sit in my voice because I was so heavy. And then as soon as I started lightening up weight-wise, okay, as Dave said, it was never easy, but it was more accessible.
How long was that process for you, Chris? Like, how long were you? I mean, were you already working on it, and then you're like, you know what? Hold on, I got to drop 20 pounds. You're like, okay.
I kind of knew it my first session with Beth, that I had to be more agile, and so it was my first session. So I actually worked with Beth, I think 4 weeks or 5 weeks before we ever recorded. So it was, that's how far I had to go to get there. So because I kept requesting, I'm not ready, I need more sessions. And so through that, I was just losing weight.
Deborah, look how surprised you are.
Was it work?
Did you just go in, knock it out of the park?
What's that?
So, were you losing weight because you were worried? Is worry weight dropping off? Am I gonna get this accent right?
Probably 50%, but yes.
And then Deborah, what did you say?
No, I'm just very fascinated because everybody's journey to get to that space is different. So when you're hearing this journey, it's very fascinating, very fascinating. And it also at the same time, very inspiring because when you have a powerful instrument and you're willing to shape it in order to fit this other vessel, it's inspiring. It's a masterclass in dedication and devotion and passion to what you do. And that's why you are a consummate professional. And you're everything you do.
Coming from you, that means everything. That, truthfully, one of the most frightening parts of it was that I knew Deborah was there. So I knew I couldn't come in half. Otherwise,
she's gonna have it.
But you know what? But you're also the kind of man that when you show up, you show out, and that inspires others.
Love you. I love you.
You know, we could go forth all day long.
I want to just turn off my camera and let you guys have a conversation. Deborah, for you, what drew you to the project? Like, why'd you want to be a part of this one?
I didn't know what the project was. So honestly, it simply was an audition. And I knew how to do the general and the basic African accents. I knew two particular accents that I could, African accents, and I said, okay, you know, West African accent, Nigerian, I can get that. And the general accent that's kind of light, which has an African lilt, but not over the top like Nigerian. I was like, I'm good with that. And so I had no idea what the project was. And believe it or not, it wasn't until I got to a callback of it that it started to come to fruition to what it was. And at that point, I'm still immersed in doing that accent, in finding that space, in becoming that energy, that it wasn't about whether I got it or not. I was too focused on, can I be in this space right now and hold this space and feel good about what I'm holding, feel good about what I'm holding. And so they are going to have their own feelings and opinions, but can I feel good about what I'm holding so that whether I book this or not, can I say I did the job? Because for me, booking and a job are two different things. When I'm in the booth, I did the job. I'm doing the job. I don't look back because I know I did the job. So if I don't book it, I know I did my job. So at that point, for me, it was also a matter of immersing myself in that moment and staying in that moment to do the job. And by the end of it, I was like, brush your shoulders off, player, you did the job. And so when I booked it, it was like, wow, great. So it wasn't over the top because I had no expectation. I dropped the expectation so I can focus on the job.
Excellent.
That's our real job, is to audition. Once we've been hired, we're having fun.
What you just said, every young actor should listen to that. Because the reality of what we do for a living is the audition process. Your audition is truly the only time you 100% own what you do. There's no input. You come with what you come with. You come with what you brought. And that is truly the only time that you are 100% in control of what you are doing. When you're on set, it's like, how about if you do it like this? Or if you took another 2 steps this way, then you'd find your life. Or things like that, right? So it's yes, you can come with your character, but there's other things that you can't control. So when you are in that room over Zoom, over wherever, and you are auditioning, that is the only time you 100% control what you do.
Yes.
Chris, a question for you on that track. How long did it take you to learn that? You say every young actor should learn that, right? I remember I had Nolan North on a podcast around Iron Man, and he said a very similar thing of, right? Like, he just goes in there and he does what he wants to do with that character. And if they don't like it, no harm, no foul, and he moves on, right?
That's right. And it allows you to sleep at night. You know, when you go in knowing this is my take on it, that's all I can do. Then it allows you to sleep at night. But if you're trying to, let's say, give someone what they want, you'll never sleep. Because then they'll be like, well,
what are you looking for?
Oh, damn it. Once you're honest with your performance, you can sleep at night. And it took me a long time to learn that. To learn that my victory, as Deborah said, my victory is going in there and showing what I think this is. That's my victory.
Erica.
Getting to it 100%.
Yes.
Erica, a question for you is: I see you nodding to all this.
Yeah.
I get it, right? You go in there, you own it. When you get it booked, is there a moment like I guess, and this applies to everybody, but right now with you, Erica, for Shuri, a character people know so well now from the MCU. If you are a comic book fan, obviously from comics, is there a moment of awesome, I got it? People already have opinions about this character, and I need to figure out what my version is. Do you let that expectation get in your head?
No, thank goodness. Don't let it get in my head. I love this stuff. I mean, literally what I've always dreamed of doing is superhero stuff, and I've been able to do it as a voice person thus far. So, I mean, I was just kind of over the moon about it. This was my first time working with a dialect coach. So once they said, and you will be working with a dialect coach, Beth McGuire, wonderful, wonderful human. I was then I got nervous. 'Cause I was like, I auditioned with this accent. I thought it was, didn't you like it? I don't know. Oh, shoot. So then, yes, then working with Beth, I was like, okay, because obviously, yes, with the audition process, you bring what you have to give. You're in the moment. It's emotional. You're doing the things. And then, yes, on the set or in the booth, then there's the technicality. So what Dave was saying, for instance, about like, oh, there's that one word in a line. So you've given your emotional performance. You're dialed in. You're the character. And then they're like, "Oh, actually, that one word, can you shift it?" And then you're like, okay, but you have to bring all of that emotion and all of that presence to the line. But remember
Right.
to say it this very specific way. So that was a little nerve wracking, but also fun.
Did it get easier as it went on? Because I feel I totally understand what you're talking about. You're in the moment, you're delivering, and then okay, cool, you got to get back to that place.
Yeah. It did get easier, thank goodness. I mean, it's sort of like also developing a rapport with Beth and having her sort of know how I work, knowing how she works. And so then eventually I feel like I got the accent better, more consistently, so there were less corrections. And when that happens, then my nerves are able to be because it's the more corrections you get, obviously, as a sensitive actor type, you're like, oh, okay, then I'm not doing any of it right. Am I doing, so once you get through like 5 lines and it's like, that was great. Oh, good. Then yeah, okay, then you can get into the flow and you're not sort of in your head about, what correction might be coming, or let me get this absolute, because in acting, it's not about getting anything perfect. It's about being in a moment, being present, giving yourself to this character in the moment. So, but with an accent, there is a measure of perfection. So and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, unfortunately. So it's hard for me to get out of my head anyway.
It's a good thing that doesn't run in your family.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing. Oh God. Terrible. It's terrible.
Chris, asking Erica about expectations, was it the same for you? Like, obviously, you've done so many big roles. You've taken, I mean, we talked earlier in the War Table about you being Kratos, right? There's expectations to that. To step into Black Panther and be T'Challa, are there nerves at this point in your career for that kind of thing, or you're just like ready to go and deliver?
Well, the thing for me was the negotiation process was quite long, and so the first thing I said was, I'm not going to do a voice match. It has to be whatever I bring to it, and whatever is honest and in the moment for me. I voice matched someone like 20 years ago, and I felt dirty. I felt I'm not kidding. Not only
oh no, I believe it.
This man had a beautiful voice, but for whatever reason, they wanted to go someone who could do a voice like that, but cheaper. And I said, then, I quit that job. And I said, I'll never do that again. It's a disservice to me. It's a disservice to this other performer who is scratching and clawing to make his way. So going into it, I said that's what it had to be. The second thing was, it can't be the Avengers come to Wakanda and save Wakanda. Can't be that. Otherwise, I can't do it. It had to be this wonderful story about Wakandans that the Avengers enter into. So that kind of was it for me. So, and it didn't take off the pressure of wanting people to like it, and people and for it to be great, for me to be able to match my esteemed castmates. But from that standpoint of trying to do something else to copy what someone else's brilliance, I did away with that right away.
For sure. And then Dave Fenoy from DaveFenoy.com. Of course, I still have my coffee mug, Dave. Don't worry. If you didn't know, you can go to DaveFenoy.com and get your own Dave Fenoy coffee mug. Dave's looking at me each and every day, ready to go. Thank you.
Bravo. He's well trained, ladies and gentlemen.
I still know how to get the plugs in for Dave. Don't worry about it. For you, Dave, like, talk about like coming on this project and finding out about what you were doing, and then the cast surrounding you, right?
You know, it's funny because it's video games, and you don't always know. And for so long, I had no idea. As Deborah mentioned, I didn't know what I was auditioning for at first. It was, as a matter of fact, the accent they wanted was kind of voodoo, African, Haiti is what they asked for, and I gave them that in the audition. I liked the character description I really liked. So that's what I gave them. And then there was some kind of callback. There's some other lines and do this again. And this time, let's make it African. And I did. And as a matter of fact, I think at that point they were saying South African. And I went, wait, you mean that South African accent's different than the West African accent? Oh my. But I did a little research, did the audition, and they hired me anyway, because I don't think I had that accent down. I don't think I had it down. But I liked the character. And then when I discovered that this was Wakanda, this was Black Panther, I was ecstatic. I love the idea of being on something so groundbreaking. The comic was fantastic. The movie was fantastic. And I think this new part of the game of the Avengers is fantastic. It's an awakening socially that we are a part of, that the comic book was, the movie was, and now this is.
Sure.
So being a part of that, it's beyond just being an actor. It's beyond just getting that payday for acting. It's soul satisfying, actually.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that stood out to me when we were setting up this entire launch party, right? And talking about this segment in particular, Dave, is like, you know, I've been lucky enough to be your friend for what, a decade now or something like that. I've interviewed you at
long.
I know we're old, dude.
You knew me when
We're
this
so
was
old.
This wasn't all white back then.
I remember those days. But it's the thing of, after doing so many panels with you, so many podcasts with you, so many different things, like, I don't think I've ever been on a panel with you where I was the minority. I don't think that, you know, I've ever interviewed you for a project where it was something that is this, where so many people were talking about the run up to this game, right? That like, man, I'm so excited for War for Wakanda. It feels like they're promoting it as if it's its own game. And in so many ways it is, right? Of you can buy, this isn't a plug, I swear. You can buy Avengers and jump right into it and play it. But the fact that we're talking about a game that is Black Panther centric, it is you guys centric. You are the main cast. Sandra's here strictly as a co-host, right? She's in the thing. You can play as her if you wanted to on your party, but this is a Black Panther game. You know what I mean? This is a Black video game.
This is so much a part of what's going on in the culture right now. I look at the number of cartoons and that had white actors playing Black characters that are giving up those roles, and Black people are being hired. Our stories are being told now in a way that they haven't been told before. If you look at historians, we are, some people knew all along, but the history of Africa did not start with the arrival of Europeans there to steal slaves. The history of Africa goes back thousands and thousands of years. We don't talk about the culture before Egypt, where Egypt got their culture from. The pyramids south of Egypt. And all, you know, Mansu Musa, there's Nzinga, there's so many great stories of Black Africans in Africa that have nothing to do with slavery, They're the same kinds of stories you might find from China, from Europe, from anywhere else in the world about empires building and dying and heroes and villains.
Right.
And
before Africa was called Africa, when it was called Kush.
exactly. So I know for those of us who are Black, who we don't always talk about that, we live in it. It's in our minds and hearts all the time, but we don't always talk about it. We show, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. But this is, as I said before, soul satisfying. This touches a part in us, satisfies a longing in us that some of us didn't even really understand how much we wanted.
That's nail on the head. I don't know how many of you socially, I would assume when we were all recording, there was a lot of social unrest at the time. So when I go to record, I just couldn't. I couldn't because I was just so overcome by what we were in the middle of. And some days we would just talk about what was going on in the world, what was going on in America, what should be happening, and how this is affecting all of us. And I really, this being a part of this really kept me on a more even keel than I would have been had I not been doing this.
In terms of your performance or like your life?
In terms of me as a man.
Gotcha. Does that seep into the performance? You know, earlier Hannah made a reference when we were talking to her that, you know, there's one of the collectibles you can find is a you know, diary entry from you that made her cry and made everybody on the call cry. Like, is that stuff you're bringing in?
That, you know, every character has you in it. You just got to find where it is. And sometimes it was so accessible because me as a man, I was so emotionally raw that it was hard to be in the right place for certain scenes because emotionally I was much more raw than those scenes called for. I was much more. So you learn to take that and use it, and to be able to use what I was feeling constructively, what was a godsend. I'll tell you.
Deborah, did you find that for Okoye too? Like, obviously, you know, Okoye I always think of as such a hard shell. Obviously, so much love behind that. Obviously, some, you know, fierce warrior behind that as well. But that's, I don't know. I feel like if me, an untalented person, was trying to perform it, I wouldn't be able to do it well. It would become one note to me, right? Even playing through what we've played through on the stream, but the 2 missions I did beforehand, right? I would hearing the breaks in there, hearing the conversations, hearing the little barbs that, you know, you give T'Challa. Like, how do you find that performance and bring in what we're all talking about with all this, you know, life stuff happening around it?
I never make anything simple because it's not. Everything has a complexity, and every time you are using that space through your body and your mind and your heart, and then it comes out vocally, the voices always last for me because I'm always carrying and bringing and keeping with me every relationship. In fact, I don't call them relationships. I call them relationships because I'm relating to the environment. I'm relating to every relationship. I'm relating to the past. I'm relating to the present. I'm relating to the hopes of the future. I'm relating to my intentions. I'm relating to the complexities of the relationships I keep, and all the emotion that goes with it. That goes, all right, now let's tie it all together. So it doesn't matter what everybody else knows. It only matters that I'm putting that together in this package. And at one point when I was doing the very last thing for it, which was the narration for the promo, I needed a moment to just cry because I was crying for the pain of my king and his family. But being a warrior and having that dedication, I could not break, but I needed to be able to surrender that grief for the grief that they're trying to hold on to and be solid and strong. And so it was a moment that will never, ever be seen by Okoye, most likely not in a film. Most likely, I'm not saying it's not possible, but not in the future, but most likely not in a film. and most likely not in a video game. And so it was important to make her flesh and blood through me, so I can have those emotional moments, so I can go back to that strength and have that also carried as a supplement in what I was doing. And so those things are very, very important to have that experience and have that relationship or relationship with, so that it comes out without it being overwhelming, while it's subtle, and it becomes something that's intimate for me, that I keep with me, that I share without you knowing I'm sharing it.
Definitely.
How
Wow.
do you people do this? Like, I don't know. It's like every one of you is crying in the booth and doing all this stuff and having these moments. And I'm like, I remember Dave showing me videos of him crying in the booth doing The Walking Dead. Like, why? Why torture yourself like this, Erica? There's got to be other work you could find.
It's incredibly cathartic. As you know, as Chris was saying, it's one of those, like, if your feelings, it's a relief sometimes to go into the booth and to give those emotions to the character that you have, and it adds all this complexity, but it also heals you at the same time. So yes, there is other work you could be doing, but there is something incredibly beautiful about being able to be. There's something about it for me where, you know, sometimes I'm really shy, sometimes I'm more of an observer, more of an introvert, but when I'm in some ways, I can be more myself in playing different characters. I bring all these aspects of myself that I sometimes stifle in my day-to-day interactions. So, you know.
I don't know. I'll just keep talking about the video games rather than.
Deborah said something very important that I think all good actors, especially good voice actors, do, is what's coming out of your mouth is the exhaust of everything else, of the acting vehicle. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing? What's the relationship with the person that you're talking to, even if you're talking to yourself? Where are you? What's your condition? All those things are what you play. And the words come out based on that. But you have to have all that other stuff. Sure. You know, if you are a word manipulator, if I say it like this, it'll that. You don't find the depth and reality trying to make the words do a dance. You have to find that the honesty of your thought, of your feeling, of your worldview, of your condition, of your relationships, and now you're into something.
And that's why they got hired, because they're voice actors. It's never phoned in. They're willing to sacrifice emotionally what they have to do to be a storyteller, the consummate storyteller.
There you go.
And so they bring everything to the table with nothing left out, and they tell the story so that you are compelled to listen, to feel, to experience, to be a part of, to immerse yourself in, and that's the success of that game.
This is an incredible panel. Just this segment right here.
That's why these people right here in these squares were hired, and that's why they get hired, and that's why they're amazing at what they do, because they are invested in that, because they're invested in their craft, they're invested in that love, that passion, that power, that creativity, that willingness to be vulnerable and stitch it all back over again, to allow that truth, that authenticity to come out vocally. Right. That's why these people got hired. These are my people. This is my family. You understand? Do you understand me now?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's not at all. It's very credible. It's palpable and it's powerful and it's extremely credible. That's why this is my family. That's why we work together, and that's what makes this grain fantastic. That's
you know, that is how do you follow that? Like, that is everything.
And the stream, I don't know.
You know, I used to get asked the question all the time about, so is it different acting in video games than it is live action? And I used to not know how to answer it. The answer is there is no difference. The only difference is in how it's captured. That's it. If you come with the same intensity and connection and emotional availability for what you're doing, then everything else is just capturing what you're. So it shouldn't matter what form it's being captured in. And that so freed me up at just in everything, is that all I can do is approach material, first of all, that moves me or that I have some connection to, and be honest. And then however it's being captured, that's doesn't really affect me, you know. So there really isn't and my career has become so much simpler, since the only way that I choose material now is if I have a connection to it, if it moves me in some way, you know. And that really, if it deserves,
It's very true.
your attention,
Picking projects based on
that's the only stuff I do.
whether it's moving or not, or
Because to me,
transformative.
then if I'm not giving 100%, then I'm really not doing anything. Why do it? You know.
So wait, I have a question on that, and I know we're running out of time. But for you, Chris, you're talking about you only do stuff that moves you. We're talking about, you know, Deborah auditioning and not knowing it was War for Wakanda, not knowing it was Avengers. Were you approached and they were saying, "Hey, we want you as Black Panther," and then do you get it? Okay, so then like, what about this story moved you?
Wakanda, T'Challa, the relationships of these beautiful Black people, to be one of the gatekeepers of these characters. That's what we are. And once I stopped thinking about how it would be perceived, or not wanting to do something right after I'd done something else, and realized that I was going to be part of this group, but also we are part of a larger group. We are the gatekeepers of these characters that have been around since 1966. And that is a very humbling thought and an emotional connection to it, you know.
Yeah.
And we get to interpret these characters in the way that we want to, and honestly feel like, and are unencumbered by anything else that someone has done. So I you know, I just feel incredibly fortunate. I was going to say lucky, but I don't ever say that anymore, because this business wants you to believe that you are lucky. That you're, fuck that. Oh shit, sorry. I work
It's Twitch, it's YouTube. Do whatever you want.
You're lucky
It's
that
a launch
you work.
party.
You're lucky that you work so hard to get it.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, he's a fuck that shit.
Yes,
Sorry.
I mean,
God.
Circumstances.
Damn it.
Yes, but we have all worked our asses off for decades.
Yeah.
To be good at to be great at what we
No
do.
luck involved there.
So I don't apologize for it anymore. This wasn't by happenstance that I get to share this screen with these wonderful people. This is the sum of decades of work, of decades of working at it. So no, I don't think anybody here is lucky to be working.
And that's why nothing is incredible. It's extremely and very powerfully and amazingly credible.
I think you all are very credible. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Chris, Dave.
Was this what you expected?
No,
Yeah.
but
No,
even
I worked with Erica. This is our first time meeting, but like everybody else I've worked with or been around on a panel or something, I knew what I was getting into. They were like, "How much time?" And I'm like, "We can do the entire 3 hours with just them. Don't worry. As much as you want to give them, it's fine." Thank you all for obviously your amazing performances. We're all excited to play them.
Thank you.
Thank
you. What an honor. What all of you.
I was about to say the same thing. I'm so happy to be sharing screens with these great performers, great human beings.
Yes, and thank you to all the folks at Disney and Marvel, because Marvel isn't just a franchise; it's an inclusive universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's an inclusive universe.
Miss Beth
It's a
McGuire.
boundary breaker since 1966. That's incredible. I'm sorry, that's extremely credible. That's
There you go.
these African characters, and they're not, their story isn't from slavery into something powerful, from depths of darkness into something powerful. From the very beginning, as Chris was saying in 1966, coming from a rich, powerful, intellectual, science, technology-driven foundation.
Definitely.
An equal playing field of all the other Marvel superheroes.
Pretty cool.
So thank you, Marvel, for the mindset and the progressive mindset from 1966.
Yes.
To now.
Yeah, from
and
back
we get a
then.
chance to wear and have that mantle. What a blessing, what a gift, what an honor, and what a joy.
What a joy.
Here, here. Thank you all for your time. Again, Wakanda forever, everybody.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, I made a mistake. This
let's
should have
get
been
the
final
screenshot
channel.
of that.
Here, okay, everybody put it back up. Hold for the screenshot. All right, they got it. They got it. Thank you all so
Nice.
much. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow in Wakanda.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to switch over. We're going to do the harm room. We're going to bring in AJ. We're going to bring in Scott. We're
Yes.
gonna talk about that. Sandra's going to turn her camera back on. Scott, AJ, feel free to turn your cameras on. Hello.
Definitely want to see the harm
It's a
room.
tough act to follow, Scott and AJ. I hope you got something. I hope you got tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, I was watching that. We'll see. Yeah.
So I think
Hi,
Scott
Hi, AJ.
has
Hi, Chris.
talked a lot
Hi,
about
everyone. I
combat,
just want to
shared a
acknowledge,
lot in the
as
past.
an actor, how incredible that talk was. I get a lot of questions from people in my DMs and stuff about how to get started, and the way to get started is by listening to talks like that. So incredibly credibly moving. So thank you so much to the actors who were just happier. If you can hear me, thank you for moving me.
Of course, if you ever want to get
Absolutely.
voice lessons, you can go to davefanoy.com and
davefanoy.com.
in some classes. But
Oh
I
my
digress.
God.
Scott, AJ, welcome to the stream. How are you?
What's up, guys?
Doing wonderful, thank you.
Scott,
yes,
you of course work at Crystal Dynamics. You of course work
I
on this
do.
game. You of course have had some involvement with this here Black Panther. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a senior designer on the combat team. I've been working on Avengers since it started, pretty much. So pretty much anything that a player does on the sticks with the character is what I do. Traversal, combat, making all of that stuff feel real good.
Absolutely.
And AJ, what about you?
I am a senior animator here at Crystal Dynamics and been working on Avengers same time, the entire time of its existence, and it's been a blast.
Got back there. He's got
Yeah, we're responsible for all the
Mesa Boogie
all the
stack.
combos, all the movement, all of the bones that are moving on screen. Yes, we do all of that. It is a lot of fun.
So, start with you, Scott. We're obviously running.
Boy,
through
the
a
game
harm
is a
room. We're
little
using
loud.
as I would call it, a jacked up Black Panther, right? He's you see it here, 141. We're out there. We're ready to go. You can jump into skills. We can see what's going on. Obviously, here we are at the end of what Black Panther is, right? All these things.
So
For you,
5
Scott, when you're going
squares
through
and then
working on
triangle.
this, you're designing a character like that.
So very
How
long
does that start?
combos
What
here.
happens?
So when we first get the character, we immediately go to the source material. We look at comics a bunch, like start going through those, figuring out what's iconic, what they use a lot, things
Moyo
that
beads.
are repeated often, that really stand out and players or fans would identify with. You know, we look at every other media as well, movies, games, cartoons, you name it, just to find out, like, I mean, Marvel fans are, you know, they're fans of just the MCU, they're fans of just the comics. Are, you know, kids growing up that watch the cartoons.
Look at
you know,
those
or-
kicks. Those flying kicks in the air.
Yeah, don't put that just on kids, right? Don't put that on
kids. No.
But yeah, like, you know, people have different exposures and access to the Marvel stuff. So, like, there are fans from all walks, and it is a matter of making sure that we identify those iconic things and bring that to the screen. That way, when they play their favorite hero, they feel like it's actually that hero. So.
And they've done a
Hey,
great
real quick,
job
too,
at that.
For tech at home, they were saying the game's a bit loud. Can we get this down? I think since we switched units, it might be a little bit louder. So you go through, you identify all the stuff you like from comics, from cartoons, from movies, whatever it's gonna be.
That's better. That's so much
Then
better.
What is it? Just a giant whiteboard? Like I can't even begin to fathom how this goes into production. AJ, like, where does that go? Where does that start?
I think you nailed it. Whiteboard or sticky notes on my computer. Since we work off site, I'm a huge fan of sticky notes, but we won't get into that.
Sticky notes.
Yeah, you're looking for that post-it note sponsorship right now.
Oh my god.
No, I think we just look at all of that material, and then we kind of look at our hero design, to Scott's point, and we kind of see where things can slot in, where things make sense, where.
Yeah, so this, he actually brings in some of the Dora Milaje, but they come in through like some sort of like hologram technology, possibly.
But it is.
It'll be nice to read the lore and understand that a little better.
Obviously, we're doing this home run. We're doing with the leveled up Black Panther. I want to call out how much I love having the Dora Milaje pop in on the ultimate now. Is that what is that? That's max level once you level it up all the way.
You don't have to get all the way max level to get that one. I think it's like level 15 to get that. Like once you get
yeah, because that's your ult.
Option.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that right away, that's something that you can sort of spec into. We put some level gates on some things to try and help guide players on like, hey, in the first 5-10 levels you should pick up these. In the first 15 levels, look at this stuff. And so that's basically where we set that up. So yeah, if you really like that one, you can. I think as soon as you hit 15, you can pick that one up.
Once again, someone that's dodging a lot.
What
yeah.
about Black Panther?
Want to see some.
It's exciting for you guys. Obviously.
Oh, that was cool.
I'm sure there.
Did you see all those dodges?
When you look at it now, as you see, the final version, ready.
I like the combos.
This is a
almost like Cap's shield. How Cap throws his shield differently every time you toss it. It's kind of the same thing with these daggers. He has a different flow to how he's throwing these out.
Oh my god.
So he doesn't just throw it the same way every time.
It was just a privilege.
And so it's almost like a combo using ranged combat. It's almost as sophisticated as melee
is. This is your
is.
launch party, sir. This is your launch party, sir. If you wrote a speech, then we need to hear it.
Come on, Greg.
I'll try.
I need to get Deborah back in here. She'll pump anybody up.
Oh my god, I know, she got me so hype. I loved it. No, I just said it's a lot of things when you bring something so iconic to life, such as Black Panther. I mean, it's a privilege.
Oh, the Pounce, dude. Look at that.
And we've heard it through the stream today. He has such a following. We just want to do that justice. We want to give the fans what they
Okay,
want.
there come the beads.
And I'm one of those people, to be very clear. So that's the passion that hopefully you see. Scott and myself, we put into this and the team because.
And the beads kind of change color depending on what they're doing. If they're attacking an enemy or potentially healing an ally. Or...
A hero that people love. Movement, combat, that makes you not just look.
Oh, he missed.
Feel. And I will put huge emphasis on that word, feel. Like
and the spears can pin enemies.
I think it brings out some of the best work from our
So much like Thor's hammer, you can pin enemies with the spear.
So yeah, I'm just extremely proud of him. I feel like I'm like a father right now.
I love that kick. I love those kicks.
He's not my kid, so that's not it. But it's like
that's so cool.
You're putting this thing you made out into the world. I get it.
Yeah, and it's just so fun to watch you experience other people's reactions, and it's just a labor of love. And yeah,
You can tell in all aspects of this expansion. You can tell that it is totally created by people who
They should have gone in the custom harm room with Black
Scott, one of the
Panther
things we're talking about that I've
and brought in more enemies and had him just fighting solo without the Avengers, just to really showcase him a little more.
How hard is that to make different?
Look at those aerial combos. Look at that.
Make them feel unique.
What?
Even myself,
That's
on podcasts leading
insane.
up to
No
it, right?
character is on par with that.
I was like, oof.
We were
Two
talking
Hawkeyes
about
back to
that
back. Are they going to feel different enough?
the
And
other
then we got it,
day.
and I do think they do feel different enough.
I think we were saying that Kate and Clint are really amazing in aerial
like, all right, cool, we're
combat,
gonna bring in a Black
but
Panther.
nobody
Like,
tops
there was
the
already a
Panther
question, right? Like,
now.
One of the things immediately was like, does he play like Black Widow? Does he play like Cap? And it's like as a Cap main, I'm like, no, but yes, but this, but that. Like he feels unique. How do you find that balance and not have it all feel samey?
True.
When we look at it, it's pretty much, we have that list of what we need to have for a character. Like they need to have.
Oh wow!
specific
So
things
that
where
actually
it just
pulled
functions
those
so
enemies
far.
in, and then the spear pinned them. So there is some
But
power there.
Where we kind of go like, okay, well, what does the light combo do? What does it look like? I think that's
Look
where,
at those kicks!
we
That's
look
my
at the
favorite thing
reference
so
material, we
far.
have The animation team like really add that character on that layer.
Just the
like,
flow of
he's
how
very
acrobatic
he's
he
very
is,
agile
and
his
what a
ability to
martial
go off
artist he
flips
is.
and
It's just
finesse
flying through the air.
lots of strong hits.
Yeah, like Warp
so
Arrow.
it's,
Yeah,
it's a lot of that, and then
yeah, how Warp
just
Arrow
anytime
kind of
we
pulls you
look at
in and
the function,
does a
it's
big
how do we make it
explosion.
different?
Yeah.
How do we put a spin on it that fits within the character's moveset?
But it's still very much
Oftentimes
its
that is
own
looking
thing.
just
See, I
what
don't
the
think
moves are.
anyone's used
Well,
that
this does this, and so
perfectly.
you know, like the
Bass
spinning claws,
chosen
like we really
thing.
wanted to have that savage sort
Because
of
it looks
claw,
like it's a linear
for his
attack. You
combat.
want to
And
set
so,
the
like, we
Panther
have
loose
that attack where he'll spiral up and do that.
when a
He's
lot
got
of enemies are in
like,
front of you.
Like the sprint heavy, he's got another kind of like very
Look at
agile,
that.
very
Wow.
multi-hit based attack that kind of sells that speed and power. So.
That's crazy.
Also,
AJ,
just to
how-
add in, I do
Yeah,
think.
please.
Sorry, Greg.
No, I was gonna drive it right back to you to get your opinion on that. So go for it. Yeah.
I think that a big part of it is the stunt actors or the mocap actors that we hire as well. I mean, Scott and I will talk about that. We get some really talented individuals to get in the mocap suits. I forget what you refer to them as, Greg. What do you refer to them as? Ping
Look
pong?
at that. He just
the
keeps
ping pong
going.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So when they get in those suits,
So it looks like
One
he
day
was
the
doing
technology's gonna
cryo
evolve beyond
damage
that, and
on
I'm
that
not
guy.
gonna- It's gonna be a sad day for me to lose that.
I hope they still just put ping pong balls all over them just for the laughs. But yeah, finding really high quality stunt actors who embody the character. So sometimes we reach out to people that you may know, or you don't know that you know, but you know their movements. You know things like that, and yeah, we reach out, we get them in the studio, and then we just give them a flurry of attacks and combos and motions to do, and that drives a lot of the character that you see.
Even the way he jumps is
things,
so
how he
unique
walks, how he carries
and
his
true to the
shoulders,
character.
like, there's just so many little
Look at how
intricacies,
quick you can
and
spin
you
out
look at
those
these
daggers
guys,
too.
like a good actor.
It's
Then
not something
it
that's
becomes a
slow.
game of mocap versus keyframing.
And of course, charging up the attack, you create sort of a boomerang
That's where you
type
get a lot of
thing.
that initial foundation, I feel like, and it creates a lot of that uniqueness that you get from character to character. So.
I just wonder how you're
Great.
supposed to
We
dodge and
can't
block in
double tap
midair.
R2.
Nice try. It's over.
Like, I don't need
I'll
that.
start it up again though.
Yeah.
What do you need me to? What is
Oh,
it?
wait, you had-
Thank
you
you
had
for saying
your-
stuff like that, because
Yeah,
remember, I've never gotten to play with a main one, so I'm like, I think I'm doing well.
I heard you don't like to block, which is kind of a key thing for Black Panther.
Kind of key for Cap as
Yeah,
well,
you're-
because he
you're
has a
gonna-
shield.
Sir, I've beaten the most challenging stuff in the game. All right, Omega threat level. Don't worry about it. All right.
No, I'm sure you got it. I just on your road to 150, you might want to block a bit. He has a lot of mechanics around blocking and parrying.
Okay.
So, but yeah, when your intrinsic meter is full, like if you double tap R2, he triggers that big kinetic AOE, and then he buffs his melee damage for a short while. And you can keep building that meter up, and so you can kind of keep looping that inside the combat, and you'll find that you deal even more damage. So
When you're harnessing that kinetic energy, hell yeah. That's what I want to
else?
see.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're, I mean, obviously we're moving so fast, and the people are gonna get their hands on it tomorrow, and you're gonna have a bunch of 150s even tomorrow. What are you looking out for? I mean, when you look at the skill tree, when you think of the moveset, what stands out to you?
I think the players that are really going to get a good grasp on how Black Panther plays are the ones that really kind of keep up that buff and debuff sort of system. He, unlike a lot of our heroes, like, we always give our heroes like some way to buff or debuff enemies, but he's really the first character that really leans into that. And so through his block mechanic, like that's one of the many buffs that he has, and that he can buff himself with, and then the heroics do a bunch of other ones. And so I think seeing players like really grasp that loop and pay attention to that cycle and sort of keep that rotation up is going to be
Oh, there it
to
is.
see if they really dive down.
See that
far.
kinetic shield
The
come up?
daggers, even the basic ranged attack.
Sure.
If you throw out a couple of those, it'll actually make the enemy take more melee damage. Just those itself apply a debuff.
Okay, so the daggers
So you'll see them stick in.
can
and
be
it'll
your
glow purple for the
introduction
basic
to a combo, Hit him like that, stun him, then close in for a combo and a takedown. Which is kind of how I play Cap. I like to throw the
Just doing
shield,
that, like, as you're
get
running
some
through the
initial
enemy,
damage in there,
sort of
and then
set
get
up
up
for
close and start
combos.
punching and kicking. And
Very interesting.
in this case, we'll be
What are
clawing.
the pro tips you got? AJ, what are your pro tips?
Probably intrinsic attacks or whatever. Scott, did I refer to those correctly? What do we actually call them?
Yep,
Intrinsic attacks?
we call them intrinsic attacks.
Okay. Probably those, because they're multi-hits, and I absolutely love them, and I think we pushed that with Panther more than any other hero thus far. So once you channel your ability to use the right trigger and trigger those attacks, then I think it does a lot for him, because he does them from the ground, he does them from the air. It feels very visceral.
This is
very
hype.
chunky and good, which
I'm so excited
Good
that
kind of
this
chunky,
is
exactly.
tomorrow.
And that was something, to your guys' credit, especially.
There we go.
today,
Now
I
we
think
saw
press
the
review,
Panther sort of.
I
We
didn't
saw
have the right words
Bast
for, I think, on the podcast, but that's
tear
actually a
through
really
those
good way of,
enemies.
like, Black Panther feels good chunky. You know what I mean? Like, he feels like he's got the muscle behind everything he's doing, and he looks it too.
When you hit people with those multi-hits, Greg, yeah, you're gonna get like this cadence of like, and I mean, you feel it, right? That's what we talk about with things being visceral. You could make him move and twist all day and spin all day, but it doesn't mean much if it doesn't feel like anything. So that's why I'm a big fan of those. I also love the Pounce stuff. I think the Pounce stuff is huge. It makes him feel like Black Panther, in my opinion, and it's just a lot of fun to see him just jumping on people and wrecking them.
See, Black Widow was like one of the faster melee characters in terms of like hand-to-hand combat. And now Black Panther seems like he's even faster than Widow with
you'll
some
see
of the
those
moves.
intrinsic attacks when you do the ultimate heroic too. So normally that's one other way you can use your energy is to hold down R2.
And it's possible that Kate Bishop is fast with her sword stuff, but look at how fast he is with sort of this very aggressive punching and kicking and aerial attacks.
That's probably why I'm just running around holding X and I'm just slashing everything.
He's got a cadence that's faster than some of the other characters.
Yeah, so that he gets his energy clause during the overcharge state there.
So see, just like Widow, you want to build up her
I have to relearn
meter. You have to
too
do
bad.
the same thing for Black Widow if you want to be doing max
But I
damage.
will. I'm taking him to 150.
Look at that, he was clawing the wall as he walked past it.
Everybody, I don't want to. I'm not naming names or anything, Scott, but I want you to know that AJ plays with me and you don't play with me. So just putting that out there.
I play so much on our dev builds. I don't have any, unfortunately, 150s on retail, but I'm
kidding me?
trying to set some time aside.
Yeah, he probably has to play this
You need to
game
coach
so
him
much
through
as
it,
a
alright?
job.
We'll
It's
get
kind of hard
Scott
to
there. He needs
do that.
All right, guys, it's time for you to sign off. Believe it or not, I'm going to bring on Morgan Gray here in a second. But before you go, is there anything you want everybody to know for War for Wakanda coming out tomorrow?
Oh,
Deep sigh from AJ.
Because that's loaded, man. I mean, just
I know it is, man.
Have so much fun. We love Panther. We had so much fun creating him. Please go play with your friends, assemble, and just that's what this game is about. So just have a lot of fun, please.
Yeah.
We want to see it.
Yep. Enjoy the combat. Enjoy the exploration. I think the team did a lot of really good work, and
Absolutely.
fans will be really happy with it.
I'm thrilled. I can't wait to play more. So thank you guys so much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, AJ, I'll see you online this weekend.
Later.
All right. As he moves that, we're going to bring over Morgan Gray. Morgan Gray coming in here to close this out, Sandra. Can you believe it's been 2 hours and 40 minutes already?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What's up,
Hey, guys.
Morgan?
Hey, Morgan.
How's it going, guys? I've been enjoying the stream so far. This has been
Good.
a
We're doing all right?
morning. Yeah, I'm doing well. Like I was trying to do like a $5, $10 put the donate button. I couldn't find it, so I just.
It's okay. You don't need. How does that work? If you donate to Crystal Dynamics, does that just go back to you?
It's like I wouldn't say it's a mining town with mining script, but there's similar. No, it's horrible. I shouldn't say that. We're in trouble now.
Morgan Gray, we're bringing you on, but before we even get into it, what do you do here? Why are you here to close out this stream?
Tell us about
I submitted a raffle ticket, and so I am I'm the lead game director on the Marvel game. So what that means sort of differs, I guess, depending on who you ask. But in general, I get to work with almost every single person on the whole team in a combination of creative collaboration, leadership, empowerment. I like to build some shields around people and let them do their thing. Along with the project management aspects. It's sort of when they have that line, other duties as prescribed by management, that's kind of the big aspect of my job, sort of trying to help keep everything moving in the same direction from a creative standpoint to an operational standpoint, and getting to work with almost everyone in every studio around the world and making sure that happens.
So no big deal, no pressure.
Lots of pressure, but also not a big deal.
So This is the part of the stream that I've been talking about and all the lead up to it, right? Where I wanted to talk about where Marvel's Avengers has been this past year, obviously since launch. Talk about War for Wakanda and talk about what's coming. So, of course, we're running out of time, and I will then start with a patented Greg Miller long walk. Mr. Gray, are you aware of one Vanessa Carlton, the musician?
Yes.
Vanessa Carlton, of course, has the song 1,000 Miles.
Yes.
When I saw her most recently in SF, because I've seen her many times, when I saw her most recently in SF, she came out, ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa Carlton, she came out, she sat down, she pulled the microphone in, and she said, I find it best to get this out of the way in the beginning. And she went right into 1,000 Miles, right? I feel like we should just get it out of the way, Morgan Gray, because I've seen it all day long in the chat for 3+ hours. We'll start with the number one. What can you tell us about Spider-Man?
Oh.
We're working on him.
Wow.
Okay.
That's it.
I could say that. We're
That's
working
it.
on he's cool.
Well, all they
He
can
was
say.
Bit by a radioactive spider one time as a young child, and then found out that with that power came great responsibility.
Uh-huh.
I think
The
those
chat
are all
is
things I
losing
can
it.
say.
That's
Those
all
are
you can
things-
say, huh? Okay.
I mean, I could say more, but I kind of want to stay employed.
That's
Right?
fine. That's fine. No, and we're not trying. What I'm doing
Understood.
is I want you to give as much as you can give, so the chat understands what you can give.
Greg, you're
'Cause I don't
trying to
wanna
get
Greg
people
Miller
in
didn't
trouble.
try. Greg Miller's gonna try. Greg Miller wants Spider-Man. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we're definitely. I will say we're definitely working on him, and a decent portion of the team every day is making sure that all their focus and intention is making our favorite wall crawler web slinger cool, and looking forward to seeing him play with the rest of our cast.
And then the next question that, again, I feel for you. You work on War for Wakanda for months, if not years. And then people, the day before it comes out, they're like, what about more? What about roadmap?
Oh man, that one. So that I can honestly say that conversation goes well above my pay grade and involves a lot of talk between our brand, Marvel, Square Enix, and so I can tell everyone that many of the things people are interested in, like we listen to the threads, we listen to all the threads, especially they're a great combination of positive feedback and some really well earned critique. The number of the things that people are interested on, we're paying attention and trying to make sure that we're tackling them. In the order in which they were dialed is my favorite joke on the team. But I think others have to decide when we want to tip our cards and show what the next number of months forward look like. My dodge. Fortunately, it's not even my job to do the roadmap, so I don't have to feel so guilty. But I can say, a lot of us also want it to get that roadmap out to the world because, one, we like people knowing what we're working on, but two, we read the threads. So there's a lot of us sometimes that are like, if I could just make an account and I could go and just kind of tell people, and that would be cool, right? And the answer is no.
And they were like, no, that'd be cool when you're in the unemployment line. Like,
I'll see you at GDC.
So then let's go back now, right?
Okay.
Talk to me about the journey so far, right? It's been almost a year, and I'm fibbing a bit, right? We still got a month to go, but almost a year since the launch of Marvel's Avengers. What has that been like, launching this game that you guys had worked so long on, but then had to go into a global pandemic with, and then continue it through a global pandemic, then figure out how you're going to do not only working across the globe as you were with studios already, now work from home. I mean, like, this is nightmare stuff for anybody, let alone a game that's going to be online all the time.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I guess firstly, the thing that needs to be said, which is, every one of us allowed to continue to be gainfully employed while the world's hit with a pandemic and people are losing their livelihoods, some their minds, and sadly, too many of their lives. Like, we got no problems. Like I got to put that out. Like, this is all blessings. This is all like good days for all of us because a lot of people have been impacted terribly. So I just got to say that. Then onto the game creation thing. One of the harder things, I guess, is just the anyone who's done anything creative, even if it's just played a board game with friends, it's really awkward to try to sort of make music with people that you can't see. That aren't in the same room. So learning how to keep the creative energies going and collaborate when your only window to others is now a small screen and a camera, and maintain those relationships, let alone build new relationships, because we've hired people during the pandemic. There's people that I'm close to now that they might as well be a pen pal because I've never met them in real life, but we've been up till 4 a.m. talking problem solving bugs or whatever, and now they're like family to me. It's been interesting. I think the thing that is, there's a lot that could be said about the inefficiencies and how difficult. The thing that no one was really factoring in is like it's the practicalities. I think of the experience of closing a game out and working on post-release content. People limited by their bandwidth. Like our game, in a development environment is humongous, gigs upon gigs upon gigs. When you have to pull that thing down over, what might be good for your YouTube or Twitch streaming is not the best when you're like n number of hours waiting to pull down something so you can quote unquote work that day. So these sort of like oddities, right? Like the hangups with people's intermittent power or with blackouts, or there's been like frosts in Texas. There's been world events. These things all make it more complicated. On the plus side, because we've always had a lot of international partners and studios, democratizing everyone from really being on the same level playing field. There's no in crowd. There's no, well, the people in the main office get to do blah blah, and the rest of us get scraps. Like everyone got equalized, and that I think really helped build stronger relationships across the world. It allowed people to understand like better ways to communicate because you had to. And in many ways, I think we've become a better team because you can't just use inference and body language. You have to be more diligent, more specific, and really put the effort. And especially when there's a miscommunication, you have to do the big thing of like call someone up and be like, hey, I think you misunderstood me. So these things have been I think mixed blessings, but positive. Sadly, I think as everyone has noticed, the hard thing was all of our timetables and all our projections. Like who knows anything? It's like it blew it all out the window. So it's made scheduling the like way problematic as we try to like learn something that for at least myself 20 years of game development. I'm like, wow, this is new. We've never had to do this before. Like,
For sure.
So then, like, how much of a, I don't know, gut check moment was it then to put out roadmaps that had dates on them again, to put out like to say that Black Panther's coming in August?
It was a big moment. I mean, there's a lot of people who keep the lights on and pay people's salaries that wanted concessions and confirmation, and there's a lot of I think on us in the team being like, well, we think we can do X, but we can't be certain. And there's sort of the do you say nothing and be too cautious? Do you become brazen and be like, screw it, we can do whatever we say, just throw it out there, we'll make it happen, and then probably in the middle there's a bit of like best guesses using what metrics we can, and a little like, well, if we burn the boats, I guess we have no other option but to solve. It's kind of a mixture of all the above. But the real deciding factor, right? Because it's not like we're releasing retail product in these expansions we've been working on, right? We don't need a secure shelving space. There are logistics, but it really was like there are a lot of people playing our game who really want to know what's coming down, where we're putting our priorities, and what they can expect, and we need to give them some commitment. And if the worst thing that happens is we have to tell them we're making adjustments in part, if not whole, then so be it. That sort of came down. I mean, I was a big advocate on that side as well, which is like, don't want to tell anyone something and not follow through, but the same token, like, can't play it so safe that we say nothing, because then we're not helping anyone. So ultimately, we said like we think we had a pretty good understanding of what we could commit to and the order in which we could do it. So let's get that out there, and then let's all just drive as hard as we can to make sure we can fulfill that.
And I think I can't speak to what your original plan was for stuff, for content, or how you wanted it all to come out, but like having it be as rough as it was in terms of getting delayed, the pandemic and everything else, I think really did a couple of things that was super interesting, where it was that I saw you guys learn from that, right? Like where it was, I put up a video on our YouTube channel, right? Like the day before your last big Square Enix presentation, where you put out the roadmap and you started a roadmap and started doing it. And I saw you guys since then really lean into, cool, we will over communicate. And we will tell you like, hey, yeah, I watch the dev streams and I see that, stuff come up from the chat and they answer it like for real. And it's a lot of times like, that's a great idea. Or yeah, we're working on that, but there's no timetable. And I know for a lot of fans that can be frustrating because they love the game and they want to see it. But I think for so many other people, it's just nice to know they're heard. That's the biggest thing, being heard.
I didn't expect anyone would respond to fans.
Yeah.
But you guys have been really great about that.
The quote I always say is like, we may have whatever opinions we want to have about the game. They're irrelevant. People who spent their money, they get to say whatever they want, and and it's the most relevant. Even if it's absurd, it's whatever. They bought the game. You bought a megaphone. You can thank you so much. And both positive and negative, it's still like something we spend a lot of time looking and reviewing and talking and thinking about, just to make sure that we feel like we're in line with what people want. Now, clearly, we can't just do everything anyone wants at a drop of the dime. We have to sort of put it in a cohesive strategy because like there's a lot of practicalities. I think no way, not making excuses, but I don't think people always understand the lead times on creating things and the number of trains moving at the same time. But in general, like you feel, I think across all the leadership, like 100% beholden to making sure that we give the fans, the things that they think are important, and something cohesive in doing that. So it's not just this random buffet, but it takes all the input and goes through. And we've been very excited with the reactions we've been getting as we've been trying to fulfill that roadmap. Sure. Where the things that we were hoping would hit well, it did, and where we had goofs, we're like, okay, well, we'll learn from that. But Cap gives us the quote, I could do this, I can do this all day. Like we just every day. Some days we say it's enthusiastic. I can do this all day. Other days it's like, oh, I can do this. I, really
I guess I have to do this all day. My livelihood depends on it.
But it's a treat, right? Like grew up in comics. My first job ever as a kid was in a comic shop. So like playing with the legacies of these luminaries. Who creators and everyone that's contributed with it. Like we're both we're creators of the game, but we're fans ourselves, and so it's a great privilege to be able to play in the Marvel Sandbox for sure.
So of course this is the War for Wakanda launch party that comes out tomorrow. You already know that. You heard of this? Yeah, Black Panther.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar. I'm familiar with it.
One of the questions I had, but actually was asked over on the subreddit thread I put up, comes from Joker Faces #2. Says, "Hey Greg, I'd love to know their thought process behind doing Black Panther and Wakanda as the game's first big expansion. Was it more about wanting to add Black Panther as a playable hero, or more about wanting to let players explore Wakanda, or a bit of both?" We talked to Hannah, what seems like days ago at this point of this stream because we've been going so long, having a great time. But she talked about that outline and you guys knowing you wanted to get there. How did you decide on Black Panther? How did you decide on Wakanda? How did you decide on this being bigger than what we've seen with Kate and Clint?
Sure. Well, like one of the cool things when you talk about like the Marvel universe, and people sort of they focus in on heroes, they focus in on certain villains, sometimes they focus on locations, but the cool thing is it's generally all the above, right? It's like a package deal. You get every hero has some nemesises that you probably like. There's generally there's locations that you associate with them. And they're fun. And we knew we wanted to have a canvas that freshened things up from where the game had taken place before, whether it was like in the locales with all the AIM stuff, moving away from the some of the AIM factions, and there's so many places we could go, but that was one of the big like where could we go where we could get a more of a background setting, get some great affordance for enemies and a villain and a cool hero. And Wakanda quickly came to the start of the list. It doesn't hurt the fact that like Black Panther, kind of since Civil War, was a huge impression on all the MCU movies, right? So the late and fantastically great Chadwick did an amazing job portraying him on the big screen and building a huge number of fans. Like many comic nerds, like I grew up with Black Panther as one of my superpowers being having a lot of superior melanin. I really saw myself. It's one of my great superpowers. I enjoy it. But I liked Wakanda. I liked the unconquered super science nation. I like the legacy, and I like the combination of the mysticism as well as the technology. And I think for many on the team, that canvas that Wakanda was able to bridge from the hard, cold science of AIM to the high technology of Wakanda, infused with an aspect of their cultural values as well as the mysticism, it seemed like a great location. T'Challa as a hero is fantastic from a playable standpoint. Having that super agile brawler was a good mechanical inclusion, especially moving beyond the archers and moving beyond the flyers. Like T'Challa is just fun to play. And then I don't want to. Probably things have been spoiled, but the villains, when you think Claw, who comes along for the ride, is also exciting. Big personality, being able to bring in some bad guys that can have their teeth both into the history of Wakanda itself, but T'Challa personally, that the player could resonate. It was like you take all those things, we're like, yeah, this is the place to go. And also, it was again, we like when the the Avengers at the top of their power isn't the most interesting story to tell. So the Avengers coming in, as slight strangers, and coming, coming to seek the help of T'Challa and Wakanda was also a fun canvas for us to play with their development. And then it's fine. I can ooze all day. The interplay between the characters, each of the conversations, and sort of where the story goes. It's some of the best. It's some of the best, I think, experiences that the game has offered to date. It's probably some of the best writing and delivery that I've seen in video games for a while. I mean, there was an exchange you guys played earlier. I won't spoil it, but there's some wisdom about being the other that comes to play. That when I first heard it in game in its final voice acted form, and you did a fantastic job. through Kamala, I got misty, and I'm not Clint Eastwood kind of tough as nails man, but generally 11 a.m. on a Tuesday at work, I don't find times to get like a little misty eyed about like how games can deliver some heart, but some heart came through, and so all those things I think make this made this a great choice for us because they're a great canvas to spring from where we left the plot line.
Yeah, bouncing off of that, I mean, at this point, we all know the Avengers really well and their personalities, and of course, what the voice actors bring to their personalities. But now you have these wonderful new characters, and we all know how royal T'Challa is. So, all of these conversations that occur, yes, like the new dynamics are so great. I'm starting to remember my exchanges with T'Challa, and you're right, they are pretty striking.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it all nets out when I get it tomorrow. Of course, don't worry about it, everybody. You can play it too. 8 a.m. Cancel school. Cancel work. Just stay home and play. That's how it's gonna be. So, Morgan, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're running out of time over here. I know you got things to do. Of
course,
you
talk fast.
Ready for a thing. So I have quick questions, then my big question to end it. All right. So, throwaway over on the subreddit said, are the new enemies exclusive to the Wakanda region and will only appear in missions within Wakanda?
Currently.
Okay. And we saw it because there's also then the corrupted event's going to be kicking off too, right? The corrupted I've been talking for 3 hours.
Vibranium.
Corrupted vibranium.
Vibranium. Thank you so much. I was hung up on animanium. I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. That's popping up all over the place, right? That's
the things discovered there. They light the spark that sends our Avengers over to Africa.
Jumpman23 wrote a question, and I was like, when he wrote it, I was like, I'm not going to use this question. Then you sneaky developers over there the other day put out a little pimp for, hey, guess what? On the 17th, you can get a new Captain America skin from Avengers. Right, just from the Avengers movie or whatever, and I was like, "That's interesting." Jumpman23 says, "Can you ask him if they'll be releasing Black Panther inspired MCU skins?" Now, before you freak out and say no comment, I don't know, it's above my pay grade, yada yada yada. Everybody, calm down. Everybody, calm down. My question would be. The question would be like, I personally, we can take it to the Captain America skin coming out tomorrow. I thought the MCU stuff was just going to be Endgame and you'd be done with it. It seems like there might be more history or at least possibility there. Is that fair?
I think I think the demand and reaction to the MCU skins that we put out clearly indicates where we should be putting our focus for the future.
Okay.
I can say that.
That's a fair way to say you don't know for sure and you can't confirm or deny anything, but hey, they've been popular, so why wouldn't we keep making popular things? I hear you. It's fine with me.
I think they're cool. Yeah.
This is one that's
also Black Panther's got some crazy cool skins that I like.
Dude, like I was talking about before, when I was in the press thing and I got to actually see some of the marketplace, and I was like, oh my gosh, these look amazing. And you sneaky devs turned it off, getting ready for tomorrow. I see what you're up to.
Things.
And then, to end it, I'll give you my final big question, all right?
Yeah.
We talked about this year. We've talked about the launch. Obviously, I've interviewed you folks before on panels and whatever about pre-launch and betas and all that jazz. Now we're talking about War for Wakanda. Everybody gets to experience it tomorrow. But the question does become, in a general sense, obviously, where to you does Avengers go from here? Like, what have you guys learned in this year? What is in War for Wakanda, and what do you see capitalization happening from there?
Sure. So I think we definitely things lessons learned, and people can infer from that where we're going.
Sure.
Like enemy factions that offer more new things to ply your heroes against. Not just like new enemies, because we could just keep making more AIM enemies. But I imagine what people want to see is more unique factions with their own backstories and looks and abilities. I think that is something we brought to Wakanda, and is exciting. Where could go. Bosses, villains. Every hero needs villains. So villains that require more tactics and thoughts to fight. You saw that in the Monica boss release not too long ago. You see it in the boss fights as they play in both the campaign. I got my cat here.
I was gonna say your Black Panther is joining you.
Black Panther is
Aww.
here. But as they play both in the story campaign and as we look to the future for more like hardcore high-end multiplayer content, making sure we're bringing those villains to the table and having them resonate on the tactics, on the sticks is something that's important to us. Keeping our eyes at the various entry points. So like clearly, we have players that are like at end game level. Not the movie, but in their journey on most of their heroes, and they're looking for high-end content. We have people who who are coming in fresh because they're interested, and everything in between. So focusing on content that attacks what people's needs at all aspects of their journey, whether it's a new hero or high-end hero, is something that's important to us because now we're maintaining a lot. And I think the focus on the sort of reward side, the gears, the abilities, like what it is that you're getting as you progress, and how that applies to a single hero or even your roster heroes, and focusing more on that is something that's where our attention goes for the future. And in all things, like I said, people want the full Marvel experience. So looking at the heroes, the villains, the enemies, and the locations that ooze the universe, and continuing to push ourselves to tell stories that fill of the universe, but add to it as well.
Right on.
Hell yeah, that
Cool.
sounds good. That sounds exactly what I want out of this. Maury, congratulations on a year. Congratulations on War for Wakanda tomorrow, and congratulations on the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I definitely appreciate the time, and I look forward to the unleashing of the Wakandas and everyone's ability to play and let us know what they think. It should be fun.
Dude, I'm so stoked for the streams tomorrow and videos on YouTube of just 4 Black Panthers tearing people apart.
It's gonna be a thing.
Exactly. It's going to be a huge thing because, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, War for Wakanda launches for Marvel's Avengers. Remember, of course, it is free if you own the game alongside the Clint DLC, the Kate DLC, the Omega threat level. I could go on like this for everything Marvel's Avengers has added over the past year, but tomorrow's the big one, War for Wakanda, the Black Panther storyline. And believe it or not, Sandra, that has been more than 3 hours of you and I talking about Black Panther. Can you believe it?
I can
That's
believe
crazy.
It. I had fun. Did you?
I had a
have
great
fun?
time. Kidding me? Yeah, I had a great time. Oh my gosh!
Did you have
Anytime you
fun,
get to see Dave.
Oh yeah,
Dave
I love watching it. I'm willing to say, like, a Greg and Sandra forever should be a new entire show. I think you guys have assembled, even as it were.
I'm down to do an Avengers show with Sandra anytime.
That would be cool.
We'll
Of
make
course,
a
you have to
great
come back.
pair, Greg.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's your time. Again,
That's it.
I'll tell you
have
right now.
a
Of course,
wonderful time playing tomorrow.
have a great time. War for Wakanda out tomorrow, 8 a.m.-ish Pacific time across all sorts of platforms. You can get it there, free for Marvel's Avengers. Of course, wherever you're watching this, whether it be twitch.tv/Crystal Dynamics, whether it be twitch.tv/Square Enix, whether it be the YouTube channel for Play Avengers, like, subscribe, share, so of course you don't miss any of the future updates, war tables, hopefully other launch parties if they'll have us back, and all sorts of stuff. But no matter what, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Yeah.
All right, that was pretty hip. 3 hours. I couldn't believe that was so lengthy, but I think they really needed it to be able to cover all that. So that is it. That is the entire war table, the War for Wakanda launch party, and everything. I think we're really hyped for this. So tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Central. That's 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then for those of you in the UK, I believe that's around 5 p.m., if I'm right. You will be able to play the Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda. I'll be live tomorrow, as usual. And we'll be live definitely at 10 a.m. when this launches, 10 a.m. Central. We'll be playing that and jumping in to the Black Panther content. I've really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed the in-depth talks that the actors had. The brief war table at the beginning that really showcased some of Black Panther's combat, and we'll be able to see more about how the moveset works and skill points. And we'll be diving deep into everything tomorrow. Every question you have, we will try to find answers to, and we'll get into it and have a really great time. And then don't forget, on Thursday, we'll be teaming up with my good friend Sim for our usual Marvel's Avengers meetup. But this time we will be running through the War for Wakanda campaign with him and getting through that and going from there. So cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. Like the video if you enjoyed this content and coverage of this war table for Wakanda. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.